வெங்கட்ராமன் ஸ்ரீ மகாலிங்கம் இவர்களை இன்றைய முக்கிய விருந்தினர் ஸ்ரீ புருஷோத்தம் மலானிஜி, சேர்மன் ஸ்ரீ மலானி குரூப் ஆஃப் கம்பெனிஸ் அவர்களையும், நமது இன்றைய சிறப்பு பேச்சாளர்கள் சர்வகலா சூடாமணி உபய வேதாந்த ஸ்ரீ துஷ்யந்த் ஸ்ரீதர் சுவாமி அவர்களையும், சயின்டிஸ்ட், ஆத்தர், எலோக்வென்ட் ஸ்பீக்கர் ஸ்ரீ ஆனந்த் ரங்கநாதன்ஜி அவர்களையும் மேடைக்கு அழைத்து வர அன்புடன் கேட்டுக்கொள்கின்றோம். A warm welcome to our distinguished guests on our stage and our Rasikas. Revitalizing Hinduism is a hot topic today. Our young scholars are here to enlighten us about the same. Sri Dushyanth Sridhar Swami, a simple man discoursing on ancient scriptures, has captured the mind of the spiritually inclined and connects to the young, has broken several stereotypes when it comes to Harikatha. He delivered 3,511 pravachanas in 27 countries, has 3,500 online videos with 150 million views, managed Abhinava Pathashala with 7,000 Sishyas during the COVID period, director, award-winning Sanskrit movies Shakuntalam. He has acted in Vedanta Desika and in Tamil series Periyava, has conceptualized, curated and narrated 5 Natya productions that include the successful Agre Pashyami, Ramayana Sudha, Ramanuja Darshan, Srinivasam Prabhadye and Arangathin Padayil. He has authored many books, arranged for yatras, managed Desika Daya Trust, and contributes for cultural activities and temple projects. Has received 13 coveted titles and 14 awards. Most sought after panelist with NDTV, Times Now, News 18, India Today, and Republic. He is an alumnus of BITS Pilani. The other eminent speaker, Sri Anand Ranganathan, analytical, articulate, and eloquent speaker, Indian scientist, author, public commentator, prominent voice on social and political scientific issues, frequently appearing on television debates and writing columns, has obtained his BSc Honours degree in chemistry from St. Stephen's College, Delhi, after which he went on a scholarship to Cambridge, UK, where he obtained his BA Tripos in Natural Science, his MA and his PhD. After postdoctoral stint at Cambridge, Sri Anandji returned to India to join International Center of Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology in Delhi, where he ran his lab for 16 years as a staff research scientist. In 2015, he joined the Special Center for Molecular Medicine, Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi, and became a full professor in 2019. His laboratory works in the area of directed evaluation, pathogenesis, with special emphasis on tuberculosis and malaria. Scientific contributions from Sri Anandji's lab have been published in peer-reviewed journals like the Journal of Biological Chemistry, Chemistry and Biology, the Journal of Infectious Diseases, Journal of Clinical Investigation and Nature Communications. Sri Anandji writes and appears frequently on television debates on politics, media, and science. His columns have appeared in Swarajya, DNA, NL, First Post, etc. He is also the consulting editor of Swaraj. Sri Anandji has authored 5 books: The Land of the Wilted Rose, For Love and Honor, The Rat Eater, Suful. His forthcoming book is on India's forgotten scientist. Dr. Anand has authored 5 books, including the only non-fiction, Hindus in Hindu Rashtra. In this book, the last line of acknowledgement interestingly reads, "As a small gesture of my appreciation and gratitude towards this all-accepting, long-suffering, uncomplaining, perhaps to the point meekness community, all royalties due to me from this will go to the Hindu refugee cause. At last count, the figure has exceeded 1.5 million rupees, a real great gesture, sir." To welcome our eminent speakers, we are honored to have our chief guest, Sri Purushottam Malaniji, Sri Malani Group of Companies Chairman. Sri Malaniji is a B.Tech chemical engineer from IIT Mumbai, He is the chairman of Sri Malani Group of Companies, manufacturers of Century brand mattresses and sofas. Sri Malani Group is the largest exporter of mattresses from India. He is a managing trustee of Sri Jagannath Temple Ram Gopal Trust, a religious and charitable organization from around 130 years. This trust is managing 3 fairly large temples in Secunderabad and the properties at Bazar, Vijayawada and Mathura. They do a lot of social service and donate for a good cause to the needy. Request our chief guest, Sri Malani ji, to present a garland and welcome Sri Dushyanth Sridhar Swami, National Spokesperson of Sanatana Dharma, to our stage. Sri Dushyanth Sridhar ji. Request our chief guest to present a garland to Sri Anand Ranganathan ji, eloquent speaker, Indian scientist, author, public commentator, prominent voice on social and political and scientific issues, and welcome him to our stage. Thank you, sir. Request our chief guest, Sri Malani ji, to address our gathering.
Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be addressing all of you, and especially the eminent speakers here. I'll keep it short. I'm sure we all are looking forward to hearing both the eminent speakers. I'll start with a small verse from the Ramayana, which runs like this. Uma kahahu main anubhav apna, Sat Hari Bhajan Jagat Sab Sapna. It's a very short line which says that the devotion to the Lord is the only meaning thing in the life, and the rest is mithya or dream or a sapna. Now, as a family, as you all have been introduced to, we are deeply religious family attached to a large trust. We live religion, we practice religion, we breathe religion. Some of you may be surprised at the amount of time we spent on religion. It's a bit of a challenge in today's life, but we keep doing it. I'd just like to share one real life incident in my life which has had a profound impact on my character. And this is a real life incident. I'll keep it short. So from the year about 1930, my grandfather used to visit a village called Mallampet nearby here, about 45-50 kilometers from here. And the temple was it was a Hanuman temple in a proper jungle at that time. Now, of course, it has been developed. Every Saturday he used to go there, and from the main road he used to walk about 7-8 kilometers to the temple, give his prayers, have prasad, and come back in the night with one assistant along with him. This went on from 1930 to maybe about 1995, a period of 65 years, when he offered prayers, and that what do we call chola, that is, we offer the sindoor and the oil on the Hanuman deity. It is a pretty large deity, maybe about 15 feet high. So every Saturday he kept on doing that. 1998, my grandfather expired, and to our surprise, the very next day, the deity shed its entire chola of about 150 kgs and became very thin. Call it providence, call it coincidence, call it that the Lord is acknowledging his ardent devotee, but it had a very profound impact on my life, that the devotion to Lord is maybe something which has a deeper connect to your entire way you conduct yourself in the society. With these few words, I would give back to the guests here, the hosts.
Thank you, sir, for your nice words. Request our President, Sri Venkatraman ji, to present a garland to our chief guest. Our Vice President, Sri Mahalingam ji, will present a memento to Sri Malani ji. It was indeed a pleasure to welcome on our stage our chief guest, Sri Malani ji, chairman of Sri Malani Group of Companies. We thank him for his gracious presence this evening and honoring our speakers. Thank you once again, sir.
Jayatyashrita santrasa dhvanta vidvamsa nodayah प्रभावान् सीतया देव्या परमव्योम भास्करः गीर्वाणैरर्थ्यमानो दशमुखनिधनं कोसलेषु वृष्यशृङ्गे पुत्र्यामिष्टिमिष्ट्वा ददुषि दशरथक्ष्माभृते पायसाग्र्यं तद्भुक्त्वा तत्पुरन्ध्रीष्वपि त्रिषु सुसमं जातगर्भासु जातो रामस्त्वं लक्ष्मणेन स्वयमतभरतेनापि शत्रुघ्ननाम्ना ततश्च द्वादशे मासे चैत्रे नावमिकेति तौ नक्षत्रे अदितिदैवत्ये स्वोच्चसंस्थेषु पञ्चसु ग्रहेषु कर्कटे लग्ने वाक्पता विन्दुना सह. These are the verses borrowed from Vedanta Deshika, from Narayana Bhattatri, and from the one and only Valmiki Maharishi, who described the greatness of Sri Rama. This Sri Rama Navami cultural festival in the Rajadhani of Telangana has been incessantly serving the Hindu society for 65 years. So my namaskarams to the organizing team, to their big group of volunteers, astikas, and of course to such an august gathering who keep cheering them, motivating them to do more and more. That said, the topic that I have been ordained to speak is on revitalizing Hinduism. Generally, this is slightly off my general topics, which are discourse topics like Hanuman Chalisa, Vamana Avataram, Narasimha Avataram. So this topic is slightly different from what lectures I generally deliver. But the beauty is, in very many processes, you do half and you ask somebody better to do the rest of it. I have my very good friend Anand, who will do a better job. He speaks impeccable English, he dresses like English, but he's completely Indian at heart. And today, there won't be an occasion for him to ask for 30 more seconds, Navika. So he has been given an hour and 15 minutes. He will do. That said, there is a question. Does Hinduism need reformers? Do we need gatekeepers? Do we need to do moral policing? Do we need rakshakas there? One side of the argument says, Akashat patitam toyam sagaram yatha gacchati. If water sees precipitation from the clouds, Sadhri bhavyan suvachas sucharita subhagan krishna sarupya saumyan swaharodara shilan tanudhrita bhagaval lakshmano palya guptan. Says the shlokam. Water comes from the clouds. It falls onto the peaks. They become rivulets. Streams finally join the river. The rivers join the sea. Like the water that comes from the clouds and joins the sea through rivers and lakes. It is a natural process. Sanatana Dharma has existed for millennia. So one side of the argument says, we don't need protectors. But there is a beautiful vachanam which Manu says, Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. Dharma will come to your help only if you take measures to protect dharma. So how do we reconcile between two sides of this argument? One side which says you don't need protectors, the other side which says you have to protect dharma. Maybe we have to take measures and initiatives to protect dharma, but with the thought that I am not the one that is protecting it, it has given me an opportunity to serve it. Like karmanyeva adhikaraste maphaleshu kadachana, which Krishna says in the first shatkam of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, probably we can do it that way. That is the second point. The third, which I think I have to continue from where I have left the last year, we had another prolific writer, speaker, friend, Sai Deepak address this gathering. That year, I had the opportunity to say that we need to understand our scriptures, our pramanas, our itihasas, our puranas better. And no land knows it better when you have great speakers like Chaganti Kotishwar Rao Garu, Samavedam Shanmukha Sharma Garu, And you have had great acharyas like Sri Bhashyam Appalacharyulu. So many Mahans have adorned this Telugu speaking land. Of course, you are two states now. It's the story of two states. But there is one Telugu Talli which has given rise to two children. One is Telangana, one is Andhra. So I see it that way. That said, what are the topics that I would like to touch upon today? One is something that has affected once upon your neighboring state, but not your neighboring state anymore, called Tamil Nadu. It is called the Dravidian virus that has touched that land in the last 100 years. At the outset, when I'm going to unravel some of the beautiful, prolific statements that have come from their ideologues and leaders, a lot of you will be concerned about my life and safety. They will write, "Sir, you're speaking about them. How will you live tomorrow?" See, the irony is I give 250 lectures a year. Of them, I would say 150 are in English, 100 are in Tamil. A lot of my Tamil lectures, discourses, pravachanam, upanyasam, a lot of it is followed by people who followed that ideology. So they sometimes become covertly the co-organizers for my lectures. So do not worry about my safety at all. I'm in safe hands. So that said, I'm sure a lot of you will be speaking this beautiful Telugu. Telugu bhashalo Telugu teta anta cheptaru. It's such a beautiful language. Bharatiyar, the Tamil poet, says, "Sundara Teluginil paati saithu." And if you're a student of classical Shastriya Sangeetam, you cannot not learn Telugu. Tyagaraja, Annamaya, Bhadrachala Ramadas, Kshetraya, or Shyama Shastri. There is only Telugu. So how good is the Telugu of Tamil speaking musicians is another debatable topic. Let's keep that for another day. For now, let's assume that Telugu is totally respected. Now I'm coming to Tamil. With very limited knowledge that I have bequeathed through scriptures that I've learnt under my acharyas, with all humility and modesty, I can tell you, Tamil is a very, very, very ancient language. How ancient is it? One, there were multiple conclaves and summits which were organized to nourish and nurture the Tamil language. It was called Sangam. I'm sure those of you who remember your history textbooks will remember that Pandyan kingdom was the epicenter of nourishing and nurturing the Tamil language. It had various capitals though, but that entire region south of Tiruchirappalli, as you go south of Tiruchirappalli, you begin with Madurai to Thoothukudi, to Tirunelveli, to Kanyakumari, and large parts of Kerala as well. So this constituted the large Pandya Desham. Muthuswami Dikshita says, Pandya Keraladi Desha Prasiddham. But how ancient is Tamil? Sangam talks about it. Who developed the Tamil language? The Tamil literature says Shiva, while he was dancing, as he would dance, because to the dancer, the percussionist is extremely important. You have to depend on a mridangam, a tawil, or a ganjira. But the smart ones will never want to depend on them, because what if the percussionist says, I'm caught in traffic? So Shiva has the damaru in his hand, so he dances while he's the percussionist. So while holding the damaru in his hand, there is a string which is attached to a little stone. As he dances, that too swings. And as it swings, Shastram says that there is a sound which comes out, which is the crude sound. Ayuno, rilik, japakatadas, ayaunch. This is the crude form of the language that comes as sound when Shiva dances. This crude form later gets refined into aksharas. A, I, ka, kha, ga, gha, nga, cha, cha, ja, ja, nya. So all these letters become words, words become sentences, sentences become poems and prose. So literature is literally born as Shiva dances. This process is called Dukrinkaranam. That is why Shankara says in Mohamudgaram, Nahi nahi rakshati Dukrinkarane bhaja govindam. So as he dances, this knowledge comes, and what comes? Shaiva Siddhantam says 2 languages have emerged from Shiva's dance. One is Sanskritam, second is Tamil. So Tamil as a language finds its origin in Shiva's dance. But who nourished this? His son Kartikeya. Kartikeya Gangeya Gauri Tanaya Swaminatha Paripalaya Shumam. So Swaminatha, Kartikeya, Skanda, Guha, Shanmukha, Sharavana Bhava, who in the Tamil language is revered as Muruga, nourished this language. So Shiva danced, the language was born. His son Kartikeya nourished the language. Who furthered it? It was Agastya. Kumbhi sunor asura kabalaha svairabhasha. Vedanta Deshika says that rishi who swallowed the asuras, Vatapi and Ilvala. Kumbhi sunor asura kabalaha svairabhasha. So that rishi, Agastya Bhasha, if you refer to the earlier commentaries in Tamil, they call it Agastya Bhasha. Agastya Bhasha deshathukku uttaravadiyayirukkum Tirumalai. So Shiva danced, the language was born. Kartikeya blessed by nourishing the language. Agastya developed the very grammar for the language. That book which is lost today, but which finds reference, is called Agatyam. And if you look at the Ramayanam, Sita learnt Tamil. We have a very clear indication because Madhura Bhasha says Sundarakandam. So this language finds its roots to all the devatas that we revere. Point number 1. Point number 2, I'm talking about the Sangam region. The earlier capital of the Pandyas was called Kavatam. The word Pandya and their capital Kavatam finds mention in Valmiki's Ramayanam. In the Valmiki Ramayanam, Kishkindha Kandam, when Sugriva has promised Rama, because it was an MOU signed between Rama and Sugriva. Rama's wife was abducted. Sugriva's wife was held hostage by Vali, so they signed an MOU that we will help each other in rescuing our wives. Sita Kapindraha Kshanada Charanam Rajiva Hemo Jvalanopamani Sugriva Rama Pranaya Prasange Vamani Netrani Samam Spuranti. This is the shloka in the Valmiki Ramayanam that suggests that they went around the fire as true friends. They signed in the presence of Agni that they will help each other. Rama Dharmo Vigrahavan Adharma Viratim held true. He was able to vanquish Vali in the duel when Sugriva was fighting, made Sugriva the Raja, rescued his wife Ruma from the clutches of Vali. Later when Sugriva had to fulfill his promise and Sugriva wouldn't do, people who do electoral promises take cues from Sugriva. So, that is when Rama sends his younger brother Lakshmana to go summon Sugriva and say, the door that I opened for your older brother Vali isn't closed, go tell him. Then Sugriva says, Kim Kopa Moolam Manujendra Putra. Why do you get angry, Lakshmana? Didn't you check your message? I sent one message yesterday, sorry about it, it didn't get delivered. And finally, Sugriva calls all his Vanaras. He summons Vanaras from different directions to Kishkindha, which is the current day Bellari region, Hampi region of Karnataka Pradesh. He summons all the Vanaras and advises them to go in different directions. That is when he tells the team that is asked to go south. He says there is Narmada, Godavari, Krishnavena, Choladesha, Kaveri. You will see Tamraparani. Tamraparani is the river that goes near Kallidai Kuruchi and Tirunelveli. South of that you will see Pandyanam Kavatam. You will reach the capital of Pandyas. So in the Valmiki Ramayana, there is mention of the Pandyas. There is a mention of their capital called Kavata. You must have heard of the great Kavi called Mahakavi Kalidasa. 3 Natakas that he gave: Abhigyana Shakuntalam, Vikramurvashiyam, Malavikaagnimitram. 3 great poems. One is Raghuvamsham, Kumara Sambhavam, and Meghadutam. In Raghuvamsha, Dasharatha's father, Aja, attends the Swayamvara of a lady called Indumati. Indumati has a Sairandrika Stri. She has got a beautician alongside her. She introduces Indumati to all the kings who have gathered. That time she introduces a Pandya king in Raghuvamsham in the 6th Sarga. She says, this is the Pandya to whose region Indumati even Ravana fears to go. He has signed an MOU that I will not shoot any drones at you. We are at the right moment. We have great Acharya, Trumpacharya, Mahagyani. So, there is a mention of Pandyas, their skills, their archery, their ability to fight in Yuddhams in Kalidasa's Raghuvamsham. In the Mahabharata of Vyasacharya, in the Sabha Parva, when a piece of land that is infested with thorns and snakes called Kandava Prastha is given to the Pandavas, with the help of architects Krishna, they are able to build a smart city. Roads were good, garbage was collected. When you read the Ramayana, you will be wondering why we should pay taxes. So, it was so very well administered. To that, a Rajasuya Yajna, like a housewarming ceremony for the Pandavas of Khandava Prastha, which was later named as Indraprastha, from where Anand is Delhi. Delhi is the erstwhile Indraprastha. So, Pandyas from the Pandyan region come with gifts to gift Yudhishthira. There is a mention there. So, Mahabharata clearly states Pandyas came to meet the Pandavas. Later, in Bhishma Parva, it says that Pandyas were allies of Pandavas and they fought alongside the Pandavas against the Kauravas. In the Karna Parva, later it is said that Ashwathama was worried to face the Pandyas because they were so great. All that I say, you can ask all the present Prakritam Acharyas like Gemini, Grok 4, Chat GPT. They all Pratyaksha Acharyas. You can check if what Dushyanth says is right or wrong. Fact check doesn't have to be done only by Rajdeep. So, you too can do it. So, we have mention of Pandyas. Why did I begin with Tamil? Spoke about Shiva, spoke about Kartikeya, spoke about Agastya, spoke about the reference to Pandyas and their capital in the Ramayana, spoke about the Pandyas helping the Pandavas in the Mahabharata, spoke about the Pandyas from their capital and them even bringing the arrogance of Ravana down from Raghuvamsham, because this language, such a blessed language, such a blessed literature, a galaxy of Tamil Bhakti literature, that language which has nourished this literature 100 years before, it was said that Tamil is a barbaric language. Kattumirandi Mozhi. Uncivilized people speak this. So, this Dravidian ideology first attacks your language. Why should they attack your language? Because the language clearly states, there's no ambiguity at all. The language and its literature clearly states that it finds its origin in Shiva. It finds its origin in Kartikeya. It finds its origin in Agastya. Pandyas were nationalistic. They fought alongside the Pandavas. They were against the Kauravas. All this is a very troubling factor for the Dravidian ideologues. So the first thing is they will attack the language, and those people who called Tamil a barbaric language obtain their share of 200 rupees every day and sit before Valluvar Kottam in Chennai saying, Tamilai Kappom. Hare Baba, you only called it the barbaric language. You called it uncivilized. So the first thing that Dravidian ideology does is make you feel extremely small, extremely petty, and to make you feel that the language that you speak is not that sophisticated. First. Second, Tamil literature will be attacked. I'm sure those of you who don't speak Tamil, I'm sure this will be an eye-opener, because today, in the eyes of most people, the non-Tamils, people who don't speak Tamil, be it in India or outside India, they feel that the state is infested with such people. Sorry. Even their own family members visit temples. So that's the irony. So Tamil people are extremely sincere, very dutiful, honest, culture abiding. So what you see as the ideology is something very different. Now come to the literature. You know, after Valmiki, who gave us the Ramayana in Samskrita Bhasha, Kujantam Rama Rameti Madhuram Madhuraksharam, Aruhya Kavita Shakham Mande Valmiki Kokilam. After Valmiki, who gave us in Sanskritam, there were a slew of playwrights, dramatists, poets who gave us Ramayana in Sanskritam. There was Bhasa's Abhisheka Natakam, Pratima Natakam. There was Kumaradasa's Janaki Haranam, Pravarasena's Setu Bandhana Kavyam, Kalidasa's Raghuvamsham, Kshemendra and Bhatti's Kavyam, Kshemendra's Rama Manjari. All of this is in Sanskritam. The first Ramayanam to be born as a transcreation of the Valmiki's Ramayanam in Sanskritam, first time, was Kamban's Ramayanam in Tamil. Beautiful verses. Na Purvikalu కుంభకోణంలో జనించారు. నేను బెంగళూరులో పుట్టి పెరిగాను. నేను ముంబైలో పనిచేశాను. సంగీత శాస్త్రాల్లో నేను ఎన్నో తెలుగు సంకీర్తనం నేర్చుకున్నాను. మన మాతృభాష తమిళ్. లేకపోతే మా అభిప్రాయం వివిధ భాషా జ్ఞానం భక్తికి సోపానం. Only when you start appreciating different languages will you be able to understand bhakti literature. Alavaikuntapurammulo nagarilo, how much ever I say, that feeling what you get in Telugu, I'll be able to translate. Oh, in the beautiful city of Vaikunta, with the smell of makaranda flowers everywhere, Lakshmi, who was playing with Vishnu the game of dice, and as she heard the wail of the elephant, she took away her dupatta and she ran. And it doesn't give the same feeling, right? So that bhasha jnanam is extremely important. So Kamba Ramayanam is such a beautiful compendium of 10,348 verses, speaking about the greatness of Rama and Ramayanam in Tamil. And you know what the Dravidian ideologue said? The poet Kamban is a Tamil Drohi. That is the greatness of how they protect Tamil language. First, Tamil is a barbaric language. Second, they will attack the literature. Next will come Tirukkural. And that is another thing. How many of you have heard the word Tirukkural? Okay. Now, Tirukkural is a compendium of 1,330 couplets in Tamil. Kural in Tamil means short, dwarf. A dwarf is referred to as Kural. This couplet will have two lines. The second line will be shorter than the first. So this meter is called Kural Nadai, and this compendium is called Tirukkural. Who gave this to us? Tiruvalluvar. What has he spoken about? About righteousness, dharma, ahimsa, truth about monogamy, all this is against Dravidian ideology. Now what will they do to Thiruvalluvar? You have to do something to Thiruvalluvar now, because he speaks of something that they don't abide by or they don't resonate with. First, they will call it a literature from Jaina Matam or Bauddha Matam. First, they will say, no, sir, Thiruvalluvar was not a Hindu. Did you check his birth certificate? Did they check? He is not a Hindu, sir. He is a Jain. Now you tell me Jain philosophy. That they won't know. They have to first de-Hinduize Thiruvalluvar. Thiruvalluvar in the first Kural says, Agara Mudala Iluttellam Adi Bhagavan Mudatte Ulagu. Nammalvar says in Thiruvaimuri, Adiyam Bhagavan. Valluvar says, the king who serves his subjects without lethargy can obtain the entire world, like how Vamana as Trivikrama obtained the world. Ulagala Alandan Toyadellam. He talks about Lakshmi, he talks about Indra, he talks about Shiva, he talks about Krishna, he talks about the 8 gunas 2000 years back. But despite that, he is not a Hindu. Now what do we do to him? In the last 80 years, Thiruvalluvar has to be given a place. He was given a place in the public bus transport. If you go to any bus in Tamil Nadu, Thiruvalluvar will be there. He will have a long beard like Dumbledore. He will have a huge jata, nothing on his forehead. Because if you put tilaka to him, that's all. He becomes a Hindu. So first you have to de-Hinduize Thiruvalluvar. First you call Kamban a Tamil Drohi, a traitor. Then for Tirukkural you do not know how to manage, so you'll de-Hinduize him. So first you call Tamil barbaric. Second, you start attacking the Tamil literature. What will happen when you attack the literature? People who are ignorant, people who know less, start believing in it and stop learning it. See, if you go to the Tamil-speaking school students of Tamil Nadu, I am sure, with all shame I can tell you, barring 1 or 2%, most of them wouldn't be able to recite even a few couplets of Tirukkural. That is the extent to which they have nourished the language. They are very clear about Hindi theriyadu poda. Sanskritam theriyadu poda. You can customize t-shirts and get whichever way you want. Tamil aduvum theriyadu poda. Adiyum potukka vendidha. Tamil la elave varade. So that is the second level. Third, what do we do with the gods? Because Tamil language finds its roots in Shiva. Tamil language finds its roots in Kartikeya Muruga. Tamil language finds its roots in Agastya. Pura Kumbha Sambhava Munivara Prapujitam Trikona Madhyagatam Murari Pramukhadhyupasitam Mooladhara Kshetra Sthitam Pura Kumbha Sambhava Muni. That rishi who was born of a pot, Kumbha Muni, Agastya. So Tamil finds its roots in Shiva and Kartikeya in Agastya. Sir, they say Muruga is our god. We saw them the way they facilitated the lighting of the lamp atop the Muruga's temple. So their devotion to Tamil language, their belief in the rich Tamil literature like the Ramayanam, Villi Bharatam, Sangam literature, Nalavenba, or the Tirupugal of Arunagirinatha or the Prabandham of Vedanta Deshika is zilch, zero. Then what do? They don't like the gods. What do we do with gods? 50 years back, I'm sure the non-Tamils may or may not know. In Salem, not the one in the US, in Tamil Nadu. In Salem, Rama was paraded with a garland of chappals. A state that has temples running to acres. See, if you go to Tanjavur, Tiruvarur, Tiruchirappalli, Pudukkottai, Madurai regions, you won't find many hills at all. But for every half a kilometer, not 1 kilometer, half a kilometer, there will be a temple built in granite 1,800 years back, built by Pallavas, developed by Cholas, maintained by Pandyas, further embellished by Vijayanagaras, then finally decorated by the Nayakas, running to 40 to 50 acres every half a kilometer. Where did they get the granite from? We don't know. if you just happen to take a cruise on Kaveri, assuming that it has waters, let's have a hypothetical scenario that you're going on a cruise. Every half a kilometer you turn left, you'll find a temple. You turn right, you'll find a temple. So in that beautiful state of Tamil Nadu that has a Rama everywhere, Rama was paraded with a chappal mala. So first you call the language barbaric. Second, you downgrade, degrade and abuse the literature. Third, you have to abuse the gods who have been venerated by the literature. It doesn't stop with calling Tamil barbaric and Kamban as Tamil Drohi. Kamban says Rama is great. Now you have to pull down Rama. How do you do? Chappal mala. Do they wish on Rama Navami? No. Why? Because Rama is from Panipuri region. He's from the north, it seems. Rama is from Panipuri region. Whom do they like? Now, if you don't like Rama, you have to obviously start loving Ravana. But they barely know that Ravana was a Brahmana. The point comes there. Ravana doesn't come from TTK Road or Gopalapuram. He is a Brahmana. Now, what do? Now, you have to tell that Ravana was lied by his parents that he's a Brahmana. See, look at beautiful story. You'll have Aditya Dhar should be seated here. He'll get 4 hours script. Anand, tell him. So, now this is the story that they will develop. Next. When you have hated the language enough, when you have hated its literature, when you don't happen, they will say, how do you know Ramayana happened? I said, no, Valmiki has written. Do you have CCTV footage? Or I have to bring one tooth of Rama. Whoever tooth, it will be my tooth. But I have to make people believe it is Rama's tooth. One strand of Rama's hair. See, Sanatana Dharma doesn't believe in preserving hair, tooth, nails. What is the use? What you need is literature. What you need is dharma. But they will ask for proof. Now they believe, completely believe, that small minority of Dravidian ideology believing, some of the family members, their entire family doesn't believe. Some members, they believe that Ramayana never happened. Then they will say, Ravanan voru Tamilan. I said, you don't believe in the Ramayana. Then where did Ravana come from? So they will, now that is another point. After this, after doing all of this, Tamil is a barbaric language, literature is bad, abuse gods, don't believe in the Ramayana, but they'll say, Archanayai Tamilil seyya vendum. They'll say, do Archana in the temples in Tamil. Now I asked, how should we do? You tell me. Instead of saying, Trivikramaya Namaha, say Trivikrama Potri. I said, Ashade, in Tamil, I'm sure those, how many of you grew up or speak Tamil or know Tamil Nadu? Oh, wow. Now, if you keep speaking in English like how I do and how my successor will keep doing, you know in Tamil Nadu there's a line, Enna Peter Udriya. Have you heard of this line? Yes. Who is Peter? He is Kamban's grandson and Thiruvalluvar's nephew. We don't know who Peter is. Peter must be coming somewhere from Europe or UK. Peter is not an Indic Tamil name, that I'm sure. You're all sure as well. Just because instead of calling Peter, and I say Peter, does that make it a Tamil word? Similarly, instead of saying Trivikramaya Namaha, if you say Trivikrama Potri, it is still not Tamil Archanai. Andru ivulagam alandavane potri. That is Tamil. For that you have to learn Tirupavai. Right? To learn Tirupavai, you must get the aksharams right. Ari Malai Kanna Onduni Kaikaravel Ari Ulpukum and the Kodai Teri Uri Mudalvan Muruvam Pol Maikarit Pari Am Toludaya Parpanaban Kail Ari Pol Minni Valamburi Pol Ninda Dirinde Tarade Saranga Mudaita Saramalai Pol Vara Ulaginil Peididai Nangalu Margari Nirada Magin de Lor Embavai 11 Ras Put heart attack. So, see, I'm not trying to underestimate or abuse anyone. All that I'm trying to say is look at that process. So, in the last 100, I would say, to be specific, 70 to 80 years, this is how they have sowed the seeds of Tamil hatred, Tamil literature hatred, abusing Tamil gods, speaking low of Tamil kings, speaking ill of devatas. This is on one side. Sir, but why do you talk about all of this in the Telugu land? Yenduku manaki pravachano? See, during 2020 and 21, we had the role of a great Paramatma Vastu called Corona. It was Sarva Vyapi. So if a parcel would come to my house from the Amazon forest, the moment that parcel comes, we will keep it outside and do abhishekam to it. Akashad Vayuhu Vayu or Agnihi Agner Abaha. Then we will do Nasimha Avataram. We will tear open. Then we will have a vastram near our nose. Carefully carry it inside. Why? Because we believe, that time we believed that the virus has attacked my neighbor. It may attack me as well. An undivided Andhra, because Telugu language is spoken both in Andhra and Telangana. You are two states, but you speak one language. You are neighboring to Tamil Nadu. Don't think that virus which has affected them will not affect you. It will take another avataram and come. First they will say, Yenduku amukta malyada? Jambavati parinayam yenduku? Why should I read Venkayya and Nannayya? Why should I read all their kavyams? Why should I read Tyagaraja? He was a Telugu settled in Tamil Nadu. We don't have a problem when Telugu settled in Tamil Nadu rule us. We will have a problem only when a Telugu settled in Tamil Nadu writes for us. So please be aware. I'm sure you will have a lot of Telugu speaking astikas here. You will have a lot of Telugu speaking friends. First step to understanding our culture is to respecting your language. When you don't respect your own language, when you don't respect your own literature, how will you expect yourself to be a part of this culture? It's just not about Putarekulu, Kakinada Kaja and Bandar Laddu. It is not about Pushpa or Pushpa 2. There's something deeper to Telugu. Please understand that. There is another virus that has already struck you from Tamil Nadu. See, I watch movies, I watch OTT series. I'm waiting for the 4th season of Family Man. I'm waiting for the 3rd season of Made in Heaven. I'm waiting for the 5-hour movie of Dhurandhar 3. I'm waiting. But to me, OTT series, movies is just another form to engage myself. That's all. I see the actor as an actor. Like how there's a plumber, there's an electrician, there's an engineer, there's a doctor, there's a scientist, there's a speaker, there's an actor. But Tamil Nadu will have a Divyamangala Vigraham of the actor. He will have Shankha Chakram. Sarasi Janayane, Saroja Haste, Dhavalatamam, Shukagandhavan. You have to read one stotram, do Abhishekam. All that you do to Bhagavan, you have to do to that actor. Archana, Abhishekam, Aradhana, Manadhyana, Swadhyayam, you have to do. That has already affected the Telugu land. I can't do much about it. But at least respect your language. But beware. While respecting Telugu, such a beautiful language, do not look down upon any other language. Because the Dravidian virus will always ask you to put the other language down. Ek gaon mein kisan, Raghu tata. Yaroda tata, Raghu oda tata. See, just by telling these lines, We have stopped learning that language. Whether that language serves our living purpose, business purpose is another question. When you start mocking a language, how will you learn that language? So you don't respect your language, you don't respect another's language. So this is point number one. Point number two, which I thought I should shift my focus to before I give the mic to my dear friend. One is festivals. I spoke about the itihasas and the Puranas and the way it can be manipulated the last year. This year I dedicated a section to how your language and your literature can be drawn to criticism and you will be made to feel very low about it. Next part is festivals. I don't have to come to Tamil Nadu now. I'll go to the neighboring state of Kerala. Aarane ivide Kerala? Anybody from Kerala here? To all the Malayalam speaking Astikas, there's some bitter truth that's coming your way. On the Tuesday, which is the 31st of March, this coming Tuesday, the topic that have been ordained to speak is the Vamana Avataram. Tomorrow, Hanuman Chalisa. The day after is Hayagriva Vaibhavam. That will be the proper lecture. You can watch all the IPL scores on your mobile. Okay, you don't have to sit in your home and watch. You can come here and watch. I can compete with IPL, don't worry. Now, Vamana Avataram. Please remember, when Rama and Lakshmana accompany Vishwamitra, because they learnt under Vasishtha, graduated from Vasishtha's university, VU. But their university exchange program was with Vishwamitra University, another VU. So Vishwamitra took the boys, the young boys, to the forests, was able to coax Rama to kill Tataka, kill Subahu, drive away Maricha, give atonement to Ahalya, and was supposed to come back to Ayodhya. That is when on their sojourn, Rama asks, what is this ashrama? I find a lot of solace here. What gives me that peace? That is when Vishwamitra says, this is the hermitage, the ashrama, where Vamana was born. When Aditi and Kashyapa, Aditi performed Payovratam. What is Payovratam? I'll be telling you at 6:55 on Tuesday. 6:30 I will start. This topic will come at 6:55. So she performed an austerity called Payovratam. It's called Pipilika Vratam. Sini Valyam, says Bhagavatam. So she performed that vratam, and as a result of that vratam and Bhagavan's grace, Aditi and Kashyapa were blessed with Bhagavat Avataram. He was called Vamana, short one. He was, in the certificate, he was called K. Upendra. Father is Kashyapa. So Indra's younger brother, he was called K. Upendra. Upendro Vamana Pramshuhu Amogha Shushirurjitaha, says Sahasranamam. So what does the Adi Kavyam Valmiki's Ramayanam state? It clearly states Vamana was born in Bihar. To bring some happiness to his older brother Indra, he goes as a Vatu Vamana, to the Yajnavatika where Bali Chakravarti was performing the Ashwamedha Yajna. Where did he walk to? To Brigukacham, which is called Bharuch in Gujarat. That yajna was performed on the northern banks of Narmada river, Narmada Uttare Tate. So from Bihar he goes to Gujarat. Where does he become Trivikrama? There. So Vamana was born in Bihar, east, goes to Gujarat, west. Endana Kerala. Where did Kerala come in the middle? Because that time Kerala was not formed. Parashurama had to reclaim that land later, and that reclaimed portion was called Keralam. So that time Kerala didn't exist in large parts. Later Parashurama reclaimed that land, and today if you go to the city of Kochi, Ernakulam, north of Ernakulam, there is a hamlet called Trikarkara. In Trikarkara Kshetram, there were many munis and yogis who performed austerities, tapasya to Bhagavan, and said, that day you were born in Bihar, you went to the Yajnavatika of Bali in Gujarat, you grew as Trivikrama, we were unable to see you then because we didn't exist then, only our Atmas existed. We wish to see that act of you becoming from Vamana to Trivikrama again. So Bhagavan retrieved that CCTV footage, and action replay was done in Kerala. That place is called Trikarkara. So that is called Vamana Kshetram. So from that day onwards, they started celebrating the birth of Bhagavan as Vamana. When was Vamana born? The line says, Sa Dvadashi Shravana Punya Dine Bhavantam. In the month of Simha, Chinga Masam, Avani Masam, you have the Tithi of Dvadashi. Tomorrow is Ekadashi. The day after is Dvadashi. On Dvadashi, when it was the asterism, the nakshatra of Shravana. Sanskritam, it is Shrona Nakshatram, also known as Shravana. In Tamil, it is called Tiruvonam. So the star of Tiruvonam is Shravana Nakshatram. So Bhagavan was born on that day. So Tiruvonam, it takes 3 seconds. So they said, let us give a short form. Tiruvonam became Onam. So Onam celebrates the Jayanti of Bhagavan, the birth of Bhagavan to Aditi and Kashyapa as Vamana. So Vamana Jayanti is called Onam. Point taken? Now, did kings patronize this Hindu festival? Yes. We have multiple inscriptions in the last 1500 years where kings used to allocate funds to the people to celebrate Onam as a festival to celebrate Vamana Jayanti. How do you welcome someone who's born? Aggregating flowers and drawing beautiful patterns on the floor, Pookolam. Then you will have sadhya, very good food. So it was all done by the Hindus. In the last 80 years, what has it become? That's a secular festival. Engane secular festival. It is Vamana Jayanti. The name is Onam. Comes from the nakshatram Tiruvonam. Tiruvonam comes in the Hindu Panchangam. Alla Mammuka celebrate cheydu. Let anybody celebrate. See, the point is, please understand. If a devout Christian celebrates in Kerala Onam, no problem. If a Muslim celebrates, no problem. Just because a Christian and a Muslim celebrate, how can you say this is not a Hindu festival? A few Hindus may bake and cut cakes on Christmas. Does that make Christmas a secular festival? No, it is a Christian festival. So the next problem is secularizing Hindu festivals. Please make it a point. I've been telling this debate after debate. There will be a lot of abuses. You are trying to bring disharmony in the society by saying Onam is the day of Vamana's birth. Hindus celebrate it, but anybody who else wants to celebrate can celebrate. How am I bringing disharmony? The person who called Tamil barbaric language is an ideologue. The person who abuses Tamil literature will be given an imaginary UNESCO award. But if I say that Onam is a Hindu festival, that's all. Everybody on the internet will start attacking. So one thing that I request of all of you, which I see as a speaker, I deliver 250 straight Hindu lectures. I'm forced to tell Hindu lectures because if I say pravachanams, they'll make me also a secular person. So I give lectures on the Ramayana, Mahabharata. I see different audience. I see this is a trend. Pongal is a secular festival. I ask them why. Pongal என்பது அது அனைவருக்குமான பண்டிகை. I said, if you have to make Pongal, you can make it today as well. Why will you choose Makara Shankaranti in the month of Thai to make Pongal and then call it secular festival? Who believes in Makara Shankaranti? இந்த மாதிரி அஷடு தரமா ஏதாவது பேசிவிட்டு Pongal. Next, Krishna Jayanti and Rama Navami, nobody will wish in Tamil Nadu. The political circle will not wish. I asked why. What is against Rama? Because a famous chief minister of Tamil Nadu was called Ramachandran. Another chief minister was called Janaki Ramachandran. The person who abused Rama was E.V. Ramaswamy. See, there is Rama everywhere. I said, what is against Rama? Our Vadadesattavar. He is from North India. That means you should not ask for Kaveri because Kaveri comes from Karnataka. See, you keep asking for Kaveri, though she originates from Karnataka, you say you have equal share. When Rama was born in Ayodhya, he belongs to everyone. They will not wish for Krishna, but they have nothing against Krishna because whatever Krishna did, it facilitates their processes as well. So they're mostly against Rama. I don't know why. So, my humble request to all of you is to learn how to bring these thoughts in our children. It's not an easy process, I'm telling you. It's not an easy process. This is where I need to touch upon a small topic that I left the previous year. Questions. when we don't have one monitoring body in Sanatana Dharma, we don't have one monitoring body. We don't have one person who will issue death sentences. So there is a lot of liberty. You always ask questions, and Sanatana Dharma welcomes it. But when you facilitate this process with your children to ask questions, beware that you should be well informed. Because when they ask questions, when they keep asking questions, and your answer to all those questions is, I don't know, there will be one stage where they will start believing that there are no answers to those questions. They won't think that you don't know the answers. They will start believing that there are no answers to those questions. When you believe that there are no answers to those questions, you will start feeling very important. You will think that I've asked questions for which there are no answers, and you will assume you are greater than Valmiki and Vyasa. So what should parents, prospect parents, grandparents, prospect grandparents, people who are to get married, eventually may have children, should do? With a lot of your personal, professional commitments, you should start reading and listening to our scriptures. There is no other option. Do not think knowledge will come as such. You sit below the tree and the leaf falls and the apple falls, and then finally you get knowledge. All that is not going to happen. And trust me, Sanatana Dharma is a bit complicated because you don't have one book. You have books. How many will you read? Bhasha Jnanam should be there. When will we learn Sanskritam and then read the shlokas? That is another problem. How do we believe the interpretations? That is why we have outsourced that to AI. That will give us moksham as well eventually. So how do we? So there is no substitute to Shravanam. This Shravanam is different. Some time back I told you there is a nakshatram called Shravanam. This is a verb, process of listening called Shravanam. Shravanam is extremely important. I am sure those of you who are here, whatever little you know of Sanatana Dharma, Hinduism, about recitation, about languages, about stotras, if you just sit back and think, you will be able to listen to those verses being recited by either your father, your mother, or your grandparents. Somebody in your house would have inadvertently induced and injected this in you without you realizing. To me, I remember when I was under the love, tutelage, and guardianship of my grandparents, my maternal grandparents, I would just know one thing. Only when my grandfather eats can we eat. And when would he eat? After he has recited 10 stotras, Vishnu Sahasranamam, Shri Stuti, this and that. Finally, because he belonged to Kumbhakonam, he was extremely devoted to the Devi there called Mangalambika. So he would recite Lalita Sahasranamam. I didn't know what it was. But the beauty is, when he would say Lokatita, Gunatita, that means my grandmother will keep the plate on the table. So to me, that was the benchmark. Oh, Lokatita has come, that means we will get food now. But trust me, as I would keep listening to him, to listen to that verse Lokatita, Gunatita, I learned the entire Sahasranamam by heart. So I didn't learn under a proper teacher. Just because he was reciting it every day, Shri Sindhura Aruna Vigraham, Shri Mata, Shri Maharagni, and then Prabhavati, Prabha, Rupa, Prasiddha, then would come Lokatita, Patti, Tattu, Potru, Patti. So, this is where grandparents and parents will play a pivotal role. You have to become living role models to your children. Don't switch the YouTube on and go. You have to be with them. See, whatever little we know of music, in Shastriya Sangeetam, Karnataka Shastriya Sangeetam, Karnataka Shastriya Bhakti Sangeetam, today I am forced to put all these adjectives, because if I don't use the word Shastriyam, some will get awards for that. If I don't put the word bhakti, they'll say you don't need bhakti to sing Vatapi Ganapati. I can't understand where all these Brihaspatis come from. So, in Shastriya Bhakti Karnataka Sangeetam, What you learn from your teacher is just a padam, 1/4. What you learn through listening, Shravana Jnanam, is 3/4. So in your house, if you are a household that is fully into music, some Kalyani, Kamboji, Shivakameshwari, Bhajarere Chitta Balambika, Kamalambam Bhajare, something should keep running in your house. That will just go into your ears, because the manufacturing, I would say, advantage or a defect of Brahma is he has kept the ears open. You can't stop anything from going inside. Selvattul selvam, sevichelvam, achelvam selvattulellam talai, says Thiruvalluvar. The biggest asset that we possess are the ears. Keep listening, Shravanam. So it is very, very important that I'm sure parents and grandparents will know. Become role models for your children. How do you learn Telugu? Just not A, E, E. Learn, recite Potana Bhagavatam. If it is Krishna Janma, 10 days finish Andhra Bhagavatam. If it is Tirupavai month, Margadi, Margasirsha Masam, read Amukta Malyada. You have to sustain and you will have to protect your literature. Inkem kavale. They got married. They will take care of themselves. Chale idi chale. Manaki chalodi. Manaki, we need only Amukta Malyada. See, they are married, they are settled. Mangalani bhavantu. That's all. We have to focus on our literature. Ideally, for the quantum of Telugu kritis in Carnatic music, the number of musicians that Telugu speaking states should produce should be the highest, but the irony is they don't. Yes, Tamil speaking people may not have the best of Telugu pronunciation, but whether we learn, whether we know, whether we don't know, at least we sing. I feel it should be an immediate objective. Telugu speaking land should produce 1 lakh musicians. That's how you will sustain Tyagaraja Kritis. That is how you will know Annamacharya Kirtanam. That is how you will relish Bhadrachala Ramadas Charitram and Kirtanam. Only when you learn. Listening is fun, fine, you listen. Learn. Recite shlokas, learn music, sing. Natya Shastram. These are all our Gatva Sandipani Mata Chatushashti Ratri Mahobihi Sarvajnastvam Sahamusalina Sarvavidya Grihitva Putram Nashtam Yamanilayanad Ahritam Dakshinartam Datva Tasmai Nijapuramagat Nadayan Panchajanyam. Krishna was able to bequeath the essence of 64 arts in 64 days. Till 10 he didn't go to school. No kindergarten. Wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. He didn't learn all of that. He had no school in Gokulam and Vrindavanam. At the age of 10, when he was able to bring an end to his maternal antisocial uncle called Kamsa, he goes to the jail 301 to release his parents Devaki and Vasudeva. Being an Indian mother, see, at the end of the day, Devaki is an Indian mother. She was not even out of the jail. She asked, Krishna, what have you studied? Indian mom, right? What have you studied? He said, studies? There is no school in Gokul and Vrindavan. Kya baat kar rahi ho ma? School hi nahi hai. That is when she said, Vasudeva, check immediately. Vasudeva said, see, most schools are asking for TC, conduct certificate, and conduct certificate for Krishna. Who will give? Who has that audacity to give? So she said, where do we go? Then he said, there is one school, Devaki, in Madhya Pradesh near Ujjain called Sandipani's Ashramam. They said, documents not required. Undocumented people are also allowed. No SIR was performed. So Krishna went. Crash course, 64 days, 64 arts. He learned music, he learned dance, he learned how to play flute, war strategy, everything he learned. So art forms become extremely important to us, not because I respect music and dance, but I'm telling you, through this video to many people, make your children learn music, dance, literature. All this will be the biggest companion in their life. When your life has some downs, that very second when you listen to Rama Nama Mane Varakhaga Mi Virajillo Naya Tyagaraju Nike Banturiti Kolu Viyavaya Rama. That moment when you feel you're low in your personal life, your professional life, that line of Tyagaraja will give you that bliss. So music doesn't have to be learned to be a musician and singing in Chennai music season. Music should give you solace. Music should give you that peace, and music will give you that peace. That said, the last part of my lecture is focused on temples. See, to us, our Purvacharyas have said, visiting a temple is not about asking for your son, asking Bhagavan to make your son pass in thermodynamics. For that, your son should study. In the last 80 years, I'm very sorry to say, we have commercialized our dharma. You break 108 coconuts here, your son will pass. I am not sure if this is what the Hora Shastram says. Jyotishya Shastram, trust me. Jyotisha is an anga of the Vedas. In the Shadanga of Vedas, one anga is Jyotisha. It is extremely revered and respected. Jyotisham, astrology, is an anga. It has got three parts, Samhita, Siddhanta and Hora. Nowhere it is mentioned about breaking 108 coconuts to pass. I'm not speaking ill. What I'm trying to say is, shouldn't your communication with Bhagavan be of that of friends? Sakhyam Vandanam Dasyam, says Prahlada in the 7th canto. Haven't we commercialized in the last 70 years? You do this, you will get this. I do not know if the Hora Shastra agrees with it. Yes, there have been some Veda prescribed prayaschittams. Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra says, Jwaran Sarvan Vyapohati. If you recite the Vishnu Sahasranama, your fever will come down. But that doesn't say you should not take paracetamol. See, Sanatana Dharma doesn't say, because some Brihaspati will take this 10 seconds of mine. Ayya, Dwara solrar paru. Doctor kitta povendama. Achade eduthukom. Achade. I am not against. The doctor gives you medicines. Consume that metformin, glimepiride, gliclazide, vildagliptin, because your doctor has given with the belief, hey Bhagavan, make this drug act on me. So it is a combination of your doctor's prescription and Bhagavad Bhakti. Sanatana Dharma is not against medicine or a science, but it says do it with Vishwasam. So we have come in a land where temples are meant, because this is a frequent question people ask. You say Bhagavan is everywhere. Prahlada said, Sarvatra asti sada asti. Then why should I go to a temple? Correct. If he's there everywhere, I don't have to go to a temple. By asking this question, they'll first see. See, I asked a nice question. See, air is everywhere. Air. Now I have to cycle. The air goes away from my tube. I say, hey Vayu, you are everywhere. Get inside my tire, will it go? No. I need a pump, I have to give that manual effort. Bhagavan is there everywhere, there is no doubt. But I do not have the ability to see that Bhagavan who's inside that mic. See, there is Bhagavan here inside that mic. Hey Narayana. Do I do that? I am not a jnani. For me, I need a form where he has got Shankha Chakram, he has got beautiful Tulasi Mala, a face that is akin to the full moon with the forehead that represents the crescent. It has got to have an Urdhva Pundram. His cheeks should appear like the scoops that are taken from the Emerald Mountain and polished to appear like the mirror, with the dazzling fish-shaped earrings in his ears and a beautiful Kanthamala, Kaustubham, Vaijayanti, with a beautiful yellow silk that is worn around his thighs and beautiful feet that are akin to the tender petals of a newly blossomed lotus. I have the abilities to see him that way. Till I have that ability, I keep going to the temple. Going to the temple doesn't mean I refute his sarvajñatvam or sarvavyapakatvam. So when you go to an ancient temple, you will see a lot of sculptures. Why have they done that? So that they assume for the next 3 days you are going to come for the lectures. You have learned the greatness of Hanuman on 29th March. You would have learned the greatness of Hayagriva on 30th March Monday. You would have learned the greatness of Vamanavataram on 31st March Tuesday. And after that, when you go to Vontimetta, or you go to Yadagiri Gutta, or you go to Mattapalli, or Vadapalli, or Sri Shailam, or Tiruvannamalai, or Srikalahasti, or Sri Kurmam, or Harshavali, when you see those sculptures, Harshavali, you remember he spoke about Surya? I see Surya. You see those two Devis, Suvarchala and Usha? Yes, they are there. Oh, you see the lotuses because lotus is associated with Surya worship. Do you see Sri Shailam? Their Devi is called Bhramarambika. Bhramara is something that goes around seeking the nectar. Oh, you see Mallikarjuna. So he is Mallika, she is Bhramara. Oh, what a dvandvam that we see. You go to Srikalahasti. You remember he was talking about Swarnamukhi. Swarna means gold. Oh, this waters must appear like gold when they receive the rays of the sun. So every part of what you have listened and read becomes active when you go to a temple. So temple worship is a beautiful laboratory to what we have learned. Like how we learn about chromyl chloride test in theory and then go to the lab. Whatever you have listened, whatever you have read, when you see it in action, you see it in a temple. So temple worship is very integral to Sanatana Dharma when it is decommercialized. We should always stop seeing this morning Kataka Rashi, Simha Rashi. This will happen to you, that will happen to you. Because your full concentration is what color to wear today. See, if they say purple and you wear purple dress, I'm sure the packs of dogs are going to chase you. So don't depend on all this purple and emerald. Do karmanyeva adhikaraste. Do your karma. What will happen, will happen. Bhagavad Anubhavam is just for experience. So with this, I will dedicate the last 10 minutes, because the next 3 days is just my speech. Next 10 minutes before I give it over to Anand for a quick question answer which is related to the session. Feel free to ask. Make your questions very, very brief. Don't give a big lecture. Kutti question. I will answer if I know of the answer. One begins and I start answering. The next one is ready. Who's going to ask the first question? Yes, sir. So the question that the Astika sir has asked is, when we visit a temple, we see to the Devata Swarupam, Archana is performed. Who is Archana? Because many houses will have a girl called Archana. How many of you know Archanas in your household? See, so many Archanas. Now I'm going to tell you about the Archana in a temple. Archana is a process. Bhagavatam, Prahlada says, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. Archana. See, it's a normal practice. When you when you visit somebody's house, when they open the door for you, you'll say, hi, hello, how are you? Hey, nice dress, yeah? Nice smell. So when you visit someone, you want to say one or two things that end up giving them that smile. உள்ள போகும்போது என்ன ஒரே நாத்தமா அடிக்கிறது அப்படின்னா போவேள் உள்ள போகும்போது some good smell, what have you made for us? They might have not made for us, but you still ask, what have you made for us? So it's a norm where you end up praising the other person. Similarly, you go to a Krishna's temple, a Nrisimha's temple, you want to praise Bhagavan. But to praise Bhagavan, I must have listened, I should come for the next 3 days. I should read books. Then what do I do? Because if when you go and stand in front of Narasimha, I do not know about Narasimha. Idu or mari pudusa irkar sir ivar paakradhu. Singapore Merlion mariye irkar ivar paakradhu. Yarna ivar. So I am confused. Now Narasimha is equally confused. What are you doing? What do you want to say? That is when our acharyas have given a ready-made answer to this. You want to praise, but you do not know how to praise. I am giving you a ready-made solution. Narasimho Mahasimho Divyasimho Mahabalaha Narasimhaya Namaha Mahajwalaya Namaha Koti Surya Samaprabhaya Namaha. Oh Narasimha, the one with the head of a lion with a body as that of a Adi Purusha, the one who came and helped your Prahlada when he asked for help, the one who came from the dicotyledon called the pillar. You start praising. So it's a ready-made praising material which is available to you to praise. So what should you do? What do we do? I'll tell what we do. Outside we'll pay 20 rupees for that archana. When we go inside near the Garbhagraha, the priest, the Bhattar Swami will come and ask, whose name archana? You will, for 20 rupees, you'll give all the 20 members of your family. After giving that slip and that coconut from Lulu market, that's all, your job is done. You won't, when I say you, I am a part of that you. We will not even listen to one nama what he says because he has gone inside the Garbhagraham. We are somewhere outside. When will we know the archana is over? The last nama will be told slowly. Prakritiye namaha, vikritiye namaha, sarvabhuta hidapradaya bhuvaneshwaryai namaha. That means archana is over. 108 namas he has praised, but my job is only 20 rupees. Why should I listen? So sir's question was, what is archana? Ready-made praising material. Who has given? Our Purvacharyas. Why? Understanding our inability to praise. What should we do? Listen. Do we listen? No. So archanas is a ready-made material, but at least we must learn to respect that. That is archana. Next question. Yes, sir. So there is a question here. I will repeat it for you. Just one more question and I will stop, and we are all eager. I am very eager to listen to what Anand has to say. Now, sir's question was about Bhagavad Gita. Its quintessence, why should that not be taken to the colleges and schools? How do we incorporate the message of Bhagavad Gita, and is it possible? It is possible. First thing, when some may do it, sir, some colleges may do it, but immediately it will become a national topic. There will be 10 PILs. That's all. It has been Hinduized. Bhagavad Gita students are going to learn. So all this will happen. Let's say we overcome all those challenges. Bhagavad Gita can be incorporated in certain places. For example, Hanuman in the Ramayana has graduated from a boys only school. He doesn't even have Naam Ke Vaste women on his friends list. He has not seen Sita. He has not understood properly the concept of marriage. He is somewhere in a distant land from Kishkindha, from its origin, which is Ayodhya. Suddenly, some human called Rama comes and says, my wife Sita is lost. He's seeing Rama for the first time, has never seen Sita. But when he sees Rama, he sees that there is something in Rama which he has been missing all along, which he sees in Rama. So to fulfill that promise that Sugriva has made to Rama, as a well-wisher, an advisor and a consultant of Sugriva, Hanuman takes it upon himself and says, I will go south and I will search for Sita. He has not seen Sita. Her profile picture is locked. He doesn't know how Sita will look. He asked, he said she's got a pair of eyes, a pair of ears, and single nose, 32 teeth most probably, a kantham, a vakshasthalam, a small hip that would represent the calyx of a flower, thighs that appear like the banana stems, Kamaramas, Thirakadalikas, Tamasambhavaniyam. This was Sita's description. Where is Sita? Sampati's son Suparshva tells Sampati, which Sampati says, I have seen a lady shed tears under the shade of a tree which is in an island a few yojanas away, with absolutely no GPS or Waze. In the evening, he takes off to Lanka, unknown land, with no passport, no visa. He goes in search of Sita. Finally, spots Sita, gives the ring, takes away the Chudamani and comes back. To a person who has done such an arduous task, he needs some ESOPs, shares, some land in Moratpalli. But what does Rama say? Hanuman, for all that you've done, I have nothing with me to give to you, Hanuman. All that I have is an embrace. Idhar aao. And he hugs him. Apara, paravara, parikha, parivrita, parapura, parasrita, davadahana, javana, pavana, bhava, kapivara, parishvanga bhavita, sarvasvadana. Hanuman did not even question, what is this, sir? I have done so much for you. You are just hugging me. And he said, this is the biggest gift. I didn't even expect this, Rama. So he performed his karma selflessly. Did not expect the fruit, but he got one. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So Krishna delivers this message in the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. So what is the result of Hanuman's great selfless service? Atop Krishna in the chariot, Hanuman is the one who keeps flying. So Karma Yoga is seen there. So you can bring in such messages in colleges and schools where some tasks need to be performed selflessly. You can bring. So to Sir's question, if Bhagavad Gita can be incorporated, beautifully it can be done as long as Bhushanacharya, Prashant Bhushanacharya doesn't file any PIL. Right. Immediately there'll be all, Pandora's box will be opened. That's all. Bhagavad Gita is taught in schools. What will happen to the harmony? And something will do. So it can be done. If somebody starts, please do it. Third question, last question, I conclude. Questions from ma'am. One I will answer here. The second one I will take it up with her later because that's about diacritical marks. The first one is about one mention that I made. In the Ramayana, when Lakshmana is dispatched by Rama to go warn Sugriva that he has got a promise to fulfill, Lakshmana goes, and Lakshmana is an angry young man, and as he walks like the fangs of Adisesha, there's only catastrophe everywhere. People were worried, Vanaras were running hither thither. That is when Sugriva is lying with Tara on the same bed. Then Hanuman coaxes Tara to come. Sapraskhalanti madavihvalakshim pralamba kanchi guna hemasutram salakshana lakshmana sannidhanam jagamatara namitanga yeshtihi. As Tara comes, there is a message which Rama has told Lakshmana to deliver, which is, I have opened a door for your older brother, which is Vali. I have sent him somewhere. You must be under the assumption that the door is closed and everything is hunky-dory. Now, no, that door is not closed, which essentially means you will also have the same fate as your brother if you do not stick to your promise. Ma'am, Mami's question was, isn't that supposed to be an arrow? Because there is a belief in the Ramayana, which many acharyas hold, that Rama's arrow was a reusable one. If it does attack some person, it will come back to Rama's quiver. So Mami's message was, instead of the door, shouldn't it have been the arrow which was used to vanquish your brother is still available? There is no harm in using this line, but in the Ramayana and Kishkindha Kandam, the word is kavatam, the door. They don't mention of the arrow. But even if it is used as an arrow, it is not a problem because somewhere he has to die. Whether the door is open or through the arrow, he has to die. So that is a message. With the second part of a question, diacritical marks, I will take it up with her separately. Now it is 8 p.m. sharp, and I have to hand it over to one more question. Can I answer that question later? Because, sir. Okay, just ask the question. Make it quick because, yeah.
How can we start this school for agriculture and the modern education?
So his question is very quickly about how do we bring an amalgamation of the modern education and Vedic culture in one school so that students are recipients of the best of both worlds. A very valid question. A few schools are doing it to some extent. I wouldn't say nobody is venturing into that. It needs a lot of management support, to some extent government support, not much. A lot of parental support. Parents should see the value of probably understanding modern science, maths, alongside learning Mimamsa and Nyayam. See, when you learn the ancient art forms, I would say Jnana streams like Nyaya Shastra, Mimamsa Shastra, you will learn how to debate. And when you learn how to debate, like Anand, you'll be invited on every channel because he gets the points right. Because that's a part of Tarka Shastram, that's a part of Mimamsa Shastram. So, your question is very valid. We need to bring both these, the Vedic culture and the modern education together. Some schools are doing. I wish I see some people who will become pioneers and entrepreneurs that way to start such schools. I hope such schools come up in the future. With this, I will conclude. 3 more days of lectures. Please do attend in large numbers. All these lectures are going to be in English. I'm sure you will have some English understanding youngsters in your house. Please tell them. I will try to keep the lecture as engaging and interesting as possible. Thank you. Over to Anand. Namaskaram.
Thank you, Sri Dushyanth Sri Avargal. We welcome Sri Anand Ranganathan ji Avargal onto our stage.
Absolute, not just a pleasure, but an honor to be here on this amazing occasion. And I would like to thank Sridhar ji and all the organizers. This is a work of love. And when I see such a young audience, and I'm not going by age, it is a double honor to be here. I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. But of course, I have to express my displeasure as well, because what an impossible act to follow. I mean, you just heard the last hour or so, we've been mesmerized by my brother, my elder brother, Dushyanth. And it is like, Dhurandhar, how do you make a sequel that is better than the original? It's almost impossible. Aditya Dhar, by the way, did manage that. I'm not going to manage it. And it's very funny, all those people who are outraging, they hated Dhurandhar 1. But then came Dhurandhar 2, and they hated it so much more than Dhurandhar 1 that they started liking Dhurandhar 1. It's like, they hate Modi, but when Yogi comes, they will hate Yogi so much that they will start liking Modi. Meanwhile, Dhurandhar 3, Himantada is silently loading, so they don't even know that. But it's an absolute pleasure. By the way, before I begin, and I want to keep half of the time that is allotted to me to learning and interacting with this amazing audience, so as a question and answer thing. Before I begin, I just want to find out if there are some good lawyers in the audience, because, oh, thank you so much. I hope you don't charge as much as Kapil Sibbal does. This is, by the time I finish, I would need some pro bono thing, and certainly not Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who I think he filed his nomination papers, and it turned out his combined wealth is almost 3,000 crores. I think next to Waqf, he's the richest person. Maybe he became rich by representing Waqf. That's also a possibility. But and I must, when Sridhar ji was so kind enough to have requested me to come, I did warn him. I said, Sridhar ji, I'm always ever invited only once to a place. He said, what do you mean, Ranganathan? I don't understand. I gave him an example. Almost a year ago, I was invited to a debate in Kolkata, Didi's territory. And the topic was media as a watchdog. And my turn came, and I said, media as a watchdog? What are you talking about? Media as a lapdog. You guys, you are at the beck and call of the politicians, and they tell you, they pay you what to write, and you peddle fake narrative and all those fake news all year round, and if you're caught, then you publish an apology on page 17, bottom right. You're not watchdogs, you're lapdogs. And not just any lapdog, a special lapdog, because in Bengal, whatever Didi tells you to write, you write, and whatever she tells you not to write, you don't write. And the worst culprit is the Telegraph. You are not watchdogs. Shameless, you are. I didn't know the debate was sponsored by Telegraph. So I ran from there. So can I just at the beginning say that India's best bank is SBI, and the strongest cement is Priya Cement. So. And of course, I have a few lawyers to represent me at the end of the day as well. But I think we need to spend the next hour. We've spent the last hour mesmerized, absolutely enthralled by the beauty of Sanatana Dharma and its endowment. Absolutely mesmerized. I think we need to spend the next hour not enthralled, but be scared. And it is my job to scare you, because I firmly believe that in the current climate and in the very near future, you won't have very many people like Dushyanth to mesmerize you. The fact of the matter is, and I will come to the topic, exact title of the topic that has been chosen for us. But the fact of the matter is, it enthralled me, as I said, when Dushyanth mesmerized us, but it also saddened me. And it saddened me because there is only one Dushyanth. There should be 10,000 Dushyanths. And you know, the sad part is we were all so mesmerized, but imagine the scenario. An ocean, veritable ocean of knowledge is Dushyanth. And I'm not trying to praise you, Dushyanth, to get some meal out of you. But an ocean of knowledge. Can you imagine how many books, how many languages, how much wisdom has gone into, has condensed, distilled into that 1 hour talk that Dushyanth gave. And now just imagine, the talk is about to end, and a horde on horses comes charging in and kills all of us, destroys this, what can I say, but a library of ocean of knowledge. And then tomorrow, there'll be some report in a newspaper that a fire happened in a hall and an ocean of knowledge is no more, and everyone who was listening, everyone who was enthralled is no more. That knowledge is lost forever. If you think this cannot happen, then we are fooling ourselves. Because this happened exactly 1,000 years ago, when there wasn't just one Dushyanth like it is today in today's India. There literally were 10,000 Dushyanths. And it was not just one ocean of knowledge that they possessed. They possessed 5 oceans of knowledge. 9 million books at one place. And a horde of invaders and barbarians came and they destroyed it, set fire to it. And that ocean was so large of books that they say it took 6.5 months to burn. That is what happened in this country. And all that is lost. But it's not just the fact that we lost all of that. But the fact is, the person who was responsible for us losing that ocean of knowledge, the nearest railway station to Nalanda has been named after him, Bakhtiyar. So it's a double whammy. We are not only just ignorant about what we lost, we are celebrating what we lost. And this is the reality check that I want to give you, that it is all very well. It is fantastic to hear people like Dushyanth. It is. But for how long? And how many? And sorry to begin like this, but when a gentleman asked a very probing question that shouldn't we have Bhagavad Gita as part of curriculum, and Dushyanth gave the logical answer. But I am one of those people who say, no, we should not have Bhagavad Gita in the curriculum. We should have Quran. Because Bhagavad Gita will tell you what you need to do, but Quran will tell you what will be done to you. And what is more important? What you need to do will be told to you by your parents, by your grandparents, by your associations. But nobody will tell you what will be done to you. In fact, they will hide it. Like it was hidden from me, from all of us, for most of my living life. Until, like Eklavya, I took Dronacharya in the form of Zakir Naik. People may hate him. They do. But he is my guru because he opened my eyes to the reality. And he made me read what he was saying. And I found out that that is the truth. And people don't want that truth to come out because they are scared. That is the knowledge that we need, Dushyanth. Yes, one may say we need the knowledge of our Vedas and Sanatan Dharma. But then you look at this marvelous image. What do you see? You see Lord Ram, Lord Lakshmana, Goddess Sita. But you see Lord Rama carrying something. Why is he carrying that? He is carrying a bow and arrow because he too believes that it is needed. And I want to put to you that somewhere along the glorious journey of Sanatana Dharma, we've been so enamored, so enthralled by the wisdom of thousands of Dushyanths that we've forgotten the absolute vital task of protecting them. Dushyanths are unprotected. Hence, for how long? And I'll tell you, most of the battles are won not when you undertake them, not on the battlefield, but before that, in the mind. And when I look at the title given to us, I believe we've lost the battle even before we've undertaken this battle. What does the title say? Revitalizing Hinduism. Subconsciously, we feel the need to revitalize, like Dushyanth. Go to the etymology. We need to re-energize. So we subconsciously feel that somehow it is not energized enough. Somehow there is something wrong in it. Somehow we've forgotten. Somehow we have to breathe life into it. Why? Is it dead? Subconsciously we've come to believe that we need to resurrect. We need to re-energize, we need to revitalize Hinduism. Because subconsciously we've forgotten the etymology, vita, life. Hinduism is life. Before you breathe energy into it, remember that if life goes out of it, you can breathe howsoever what you want, but you would have lost it forever. And that is what I want to talk about for the next 30 minutes or so, then I'll throw it open for questioning. That it is not that we will have warriors amongst us, Dushyanth, Jesai, Vikram, so many others who will lead us to the battlefield. The problem is subconsciously we have lost. And I'll tell you why we've lost, because there is this thing about strength. Strength has to be feared before it is demonstrated. I don't want strength to be demonstrated. People have to fear it. And I'm sorry, we are just not going about it the right way. We believe we are, and in terms of defense, we are secure. that if ever we are attacked, we will demonstrate our strength. That's the wrong way of looking at it. Every nation under attack demonstrates its strength, whatever capacity the strength may be. Right now, if we are objective, the tiny nation of Iran is winning the war. It is demonstrating its strength, no matter what Trump or Israel might say. They are demonstrating it. You may win, you may lose, but they're demonstrating it. But did you fear Iran? No. You feared United States. Fear the strength. And I'm sorry, the situation right now is a bit like, as I talked about, revitalizing as opposed to something that is vital. We seem to have lost, in terms of semantics, what the word actually means. And again, I don't want this to be a catalogue of my disagreements with my brother Dushyanth, whatever he said, maybe rhetorically. But when he talked about the awful reality of Dravidians hating Sanatana Dharma, all true. But then I was asking, yes, my blood boils when somebody says we need to eradicate Sanatana Dharma, and he controls the Sanatana Dharma. The temples of Sanatana Dharma are under his control. And he said about eradication at a conference that was to protect Sanatana Dharma, to eulogize the temples of Sanatana Dharma. Blood boils. But that the fact is, what have we normalized? We have normalized billions of people who not just want to eradicate Sanatana Dharma, they say in their scriptures they want to eradicate everyone who follows Sanatana Dharma. And we are absolutely fine with it. In fact, if you mention it, they will say you are promoting hate. If I were to recite what is written in those scriptures, you would say that is hateful, without realizing that I am quoting verbatim. That is why it's been 2 years and nobody who was outraging and wanting Nupur to be arrested has had the guts to say, is it or is it not true that what Nupur said was derived from the Islamic scriptures? Nobody has the guts to say it. So it's not just the Dravidians who want to eradicate Sanatana Dharma. We have normalized billions of people who read their scriptures every day that call of nothing but destruction of Sanatana Dharma. That's the reality. Couple of days ago, you had the legislator out here, not yet maybe, but a BJP leader, Lataji. She went to an airport and she went to a prayer room and she recited the Durga Suktam. And there was an outrage. I tweeted a headline, newspaper headline, that said, there's an outrage because she is promoting enmity, because there were some burqa-clad women out there who were undertaking namaz. So 5 times a day, every day, all year round, and these are facts. The essence of azan is there is no other God but Allah, and you cannot worship any other deity except Allah. No other deity is worth worshipping except Allah. 5 times a day, all year round, for centuries. That is promoting amity. But reciting Durga Suktam is promoting enmity. That is what has been normalized. Double standards have been normalized. Nobody fears the strength. When you say this time round, when Bakhtiyar Khilji comes, we have S-400 ADS, we have Arjun tank, we have Tejas. What's the use? They don't fear it. If they fear it, they would not attack. The very fact that you are attacked means that your enemy does not fear you, does not fear your strength. He wants to test your strength. And you've lost right there, because you might win ultimately, but you won't escape damage. You won't escape misery. And that is the tragedy of Hinduism right now, starting with the title itself. And I want to go one by one, another 15, 20 minutes or so before I throw it open, because I really want the assessment of what you feel. Are we comfortable in this? Are we comfortable listening and being enthralled by Dushyanths of this world without asking for how long more? How much more time do we have? And they say, I know it's a cliche, demography is destiny. You have the upcoming state elections. You have Assam. And you know, 1/3 of the districts in Assam are now almost heavily Muslim majority. But it is not the case of a Muslim majority being a threat. Religious majority shouldn't be a problem. Do we worry if there is a Hindu majority or a Christian majority, or why should we worry? The problem is that all religions are not the same. That is the tragedy. I would be the first one to get up and say, look, this is wrong, what is happening. But then I put the evidence in front of you. This is a country where 7 lakh Hindus are refugees in their own land for 36 years. Kashmiri Hindus. 99% of the Kashmir Valley is now Islamized, Muslim majority. You had the then sitting chief minister saying we should have stoning as a punishment, death penalty through stoning. You have schools in Jharkhand where Sunday is no more a holiday, it is changed to Friday. The problem with demography shift is that very quickly your worldview, you believe, should be followed by everyone. And that is the antithesis of what a Hindu believes. That is the difference. So in 90% Hindu majority, millions of Muslims can say there is no other God except Allah, do not worship any other deity. But in a Muslim majority, if a Hindu were to recite Durga Suktam, that is a problem. Unless we understand the difference, factually, logically, rationally, I'm afraid we are ignoring the elephant in the room. And that is what is the situation right now. It's not just the fact that you right now have sitting MLAs and MPs daring the army to set up a camp in the Chicken Neck corridor. You had the AIMIM corporate or legislature saying that I dare the army to set up a camp. This is increasing day by day by day. It's not just a battle that the politicians have to fight. It is a battle that has to happen in the mind. I don't want it to happen on the roads. I don't want all of you, including me, including Dushyanth, to come on to the roads, streets, rallies, marches, demanding something to be put right that isn't. That's not our job. We love Dushyanth for what he does, because we can't do that. We don't want him on the streets like unemployed JNU graduates fighting, aaj kya chahiye, azadi, azadi. That defies the whole purpose. That is imbecilic, if I can call it. But is that what the government wants us to do? We elected people so that they lead us into not an oasis. It's a far cry from being an oasis, this country, but at least some semblance of peace. And that peace can only be had if the Hindu candle stops burning, not just from one end, from both ends. And I'll end by giving you instances of how normalized we have become without realizing that the Hindu candle is burning from both ends. One end is discrimination against Hindus and Hinduism, and the other end is appeasement for the minorities. And it's been so normalized that we don't even bat an eyelid. If you are jealous of somebody else's unity, that means you are divided. And we are divided because we don't realize, and nobody's told us. For the last 2 weeks, the Muslims in Kashmir have been collecting funds to help the Muslims in Iran, the regime in Iran. The same regime that without batting an eyelid killed 30,000 of its own people, men, women and children 2 months ago on the streets. To prop up that regime, in solidarity of that regime, Kashmiri Muslims have collected 20 crores, jewelry, cash. When was the last time there was any collection drive, any donation drive by the Kashmiri Muslims for their own brothers, Kashmiri Hindus, who were driven out? Give me one instance. Never. But then I don't blame them, because they are waiting for the Hindu strength to be demonstrated. It is not being feared. And I'll tell you why it's not being feared, because I'll take a show of hands. How many of you know where Khamong Sheikh is? Right? Not a single hand has gone up. I was in the same boat 6 months ago. So you have the Kashmiri Muslims fighting for the rights of the Iranian Muslims, the Muslims in Gaza, ignoring the genocide that happened against the Jews on 7th October 2023. You have the Indian Muslims fighting for the rights of Muslims all across the world. Rohingya Muslims. You remember the Azad Maidan riots that happened, I think, 2009, 2010, where the famous Amar Jawan Jyoti was kicked, and the Indian Muslims were in solidarity and demanding that the Indian government then take in Rohingya refugees. And then after that, it resulted in us taking in, not like America, 500 Rohingya refugees, not like Indonesia or Jordan, 1,000 Rohingya refugees, not like Qatar, Islamic country with Sharia, 20 refugees, but 40,000 Rohingya refugees. And where did we settle them? In Jammu and Kashmir. But they fought, Indian Muslims fought for their rights, their brothers, the Ummah. And I asked you, how many of you know what or who or where Khamong Sheikh is? Not a single hand went up, including mine 6 months ago. Khamong Sheikh is a region in Myanmar where a Hindu genocide happened. 100 Hindus and families were butchered, some were buried alive by Rohingyas. And many of them might be right now in India as refugees, feeding off the Indian state. Did we as Hindus ever march for the victims of Khamong Sheikh? Was there a single, forget about relief, a detention camp that was set up this side of the Indo-Bangladesh border in the last 2 years, when all of us, supposedly pro-Hindutva government, is watching with open eyes the genocide of Hindus in Bangladesh? Not one. How many Bangladeshi Hindus did we take in? Do you remember that viral clip of thousands of Hindu Bangladeshis having escaped certain rape and pillaging and loot in chest high waters of Teesta, pleading with the BSF Jawan, let us in, let us in. And the Jawan obviously could not defy orders, and he said, I'm sorry, I cannot. And we looked at that clip and said, oh, this is a tragedy. But we can say it's a tragedy. Why did the government turn so helpless? And that is the candle that is burning. But it's not just the fact that Bangladeshi Hindus are fearing the brunt. It is the Indian Hindus. The discrimination that we've been taught has been happening against Muslims in the last 11 years is a figment of imagination when you talk of constitutional, legal, social, educational discrimination. It has been happening against the Hindus. But because the narrative that has been spread is so much that we've normalized it. How in today's climate will we have 10,000 Dushyants when we have only one? When the center of our civilization's endowment, the temples, are left to their own, when the government stops controlling them. Right now, the state controls 110,000 temples, sets rent on them. You know T.R. Ramesh, he could be jailed any moment. He is fighting a battle that is a battle that the government should be fighting. And he says the 6,000 crore rupees rent that the government should get by putting up that temple land, it doesn't even get 1% of it every year, 58 crores. There is rampant corruption. Government can take over a temple on the pretext that it is being run in a corrupt fashion. There are churches, there are gurdwaras, there are mosques that are run in a corrupt fashion. Have you ever heard a government taking over a mosque? All that money that people of other faith that they earn through their places of worship, they are putting up in building tens of thousands of schools, hospitals, things that pull people or keep them to their faith. Out here, when those very temples, had they that money not been siphoned off, would have produced tens of schools, thousands of schools, hospitals, dushyants, pathshalas, orphanages. They're not able to do that. There are some governments that even mandate to siphon off money from Tirupati. They've legalized it. And the BJP government controls more temples than even the Congress government did. Now I ask you, this is the extent to which we have normalized discrimination against Hindus. How many examples do I need to give? I don't want to give anecdotal examples of the judgments of the judiciary. I don't want to talk about the fact that when the judiciary talked about Sabrimala, it was not discrimination, but it was perceived discrimination. After all, there are more than 400 Lord Ayappa temples where women are allowed entry. And it was only in Sabrimala Ayappa temple where, because the wish of the deity was such, because he's celibate, he said a women of a certain age group who are menstruating should not be allowed. That was perceived as discrimination by the Supreme Court. What was not perceived as discrimination by the Supreme Court is that Roman Catholic women cannot be ordained as priests. That was not discrimination. The fact that there are dozens of mosques where women cannot enter, even till today, that was not discrimination. And it was not discrimination that there are dozens of Hindu temples where men are not allowed entry. So how is it discrimination if you have a temple where men are not allowed entry and one temple where some women are not allowed entry? It's not discrimination. But the Supreme Court decided such. I'm not talking about that because that you can say is anecdotal. That is one judgment, even though there are judgments upon judgments that are clearly anti-Hindu or have a Hindu bias. But I'm talking of constitutional, legal, educational discriminations that are happening. That the Hindus have to face devastating consequences, not just decades from now, but maybe a decade from now. For example, the Right to Education Act. On its own, it's a very noble thing. Every child must have a right to education. Who can oppose it? But in conjunction with the 93rd Amendment, the obligation to reserve 25% of the school's seats for economically poor sections of society is only on Hindu-run schools. It is not on Muslim-run schools or Christian-run schools. How can this be fair? How can this be democratic? How is this not legalized, constitutionalized discrimination? And as a result, tens of thousands of Hindu-run schools have shut down. They can't afford this. And you know what is happening? Because the other faiths have it in them, it's a dogma to proselytize, to preach, to convert others into their faith. They are bound by that law. The Hindu parents, for no choice, will send their ward or their kid to the Muslim-run schools or Christian-run schools, and there, maybe subtly or in your face, you will face conversion. You will face proselytization. And then 20, 30 years from now, you will say, what is happening? Why do we see millions of conversions happening? And then you say, well, we did nothing about that rule. You can expect Congress to do nothing about that rule. Why is the BJP government silent? Can it not see the impending tsunami? Can it not gauge the fact that a blatantly discriminatory constitutional act has merely been appended or amended by it rather than it abrogating it completely? Where through the same act, the Waqf Act, 20 lakh acres has been claimed in the last 10 years, including a temple which is 1500-year-old in Tamil Nadu, claimed to be on Islamic land when Islam is itself 1300 years old. How is this possible? But this is happening. You don't have the courage to abrogate that act. I have no problem with the Waqf board. A board is a board. There are companies that have boards. There are companies that decide something. But you have weaponized it. And you weaponized it not just simply, you've made a parallel government as a weapon. You've handed it over. It has its own judiciary in its tribunal. It has its own executive and its own legislature. Now, I'm fed up of asking the government to remove discrimination. They're not going to do it. So the next best thing is to ask that that discrimination be applied to everyone. If you don't have the guts to remove the Waqf Act, then you make an alternate Sanatan Act. Then you empower the Hindu boards to claim any mosque on a Sanatan land. Well, technically every mosque is on Sanatan land. Just imagine. Suddenly a Hindu board decides that Jama Masjid is on Sanatan land. Well, the Shahi Imam will be outraged. He will say, I will go to the court, and say, no, you can't go to the court. You have to come to the Sanatan tribunal first. Where like in the Waqf tribunal, you have all the Muslims adjudicating. Here you will have all the Hindu priests adjudicating. And 3 years of legal wrangles later, we will tell you, indeed it is on Sanatan land and we own it. Then you can go to the court. Within 24 hours, they will abrogate the Waqf Act. I want the 25% obligation of reservations to be on Muslim-run and Christian-run schools. How is that discrimination against Muslims and Christians? Because if you believe that is discrimination, how come you don't believe that putting the onus only on Hindu-run schools is not discrimination? But this is what is happening right now. And let me not even come to the Places of Worship Act, where you cannot, as a Hindu, knock on the doors of the judiciary to demand your demolished temple to be reclaimed. You can't even do that. I thought the bedrock of democracy was that no matter if the judgment goes against you, at least you are able to go to the judiciary. You are able to fight your case. That is what, according to me, is democracy. And if you don't have it, then I'm afraid we are living in a banana republic. There is no other way to describe it. And it is us Hindus who are saying that we don't need to reclaim all the temples. We don't need to find a shivling under every mosque. Just 3 are enough. I'm sorry, but who are you to decide? There are people who hold their Kul Devi, Kul Devta more sacred than the Ram Janamsthan, Krishna Janamsthan. Is that how justice is dispensed? That you have 30,000 cases of criminal atrocities against Kashmiri Hindus, but then you say, oh, we will take the most prominent 3. That's it. And forget about the 29,997. That's not justice. That is as far removed from justice as is possible. And let me not even come to the appeasement part. Because as I say, appeasement is an instrument that has turned from welfare to wokefare to now warfare. And that's the other end of the Hindu candle. Hindus didn't mind welfare being committed to other members or other communities. It's fine, chalta hai, political cheez hai, aap kuch de rahe hain, Haj subsidy dete raho. But then came wokefare. And we saw a semblance of that in what Dushyanth was saying, that now everything needs to be converted to anti-Hindu. Hindu festivals need to be told explicitly that they've got nothing to do with Hinduism. Yoga is not Hindu. Let's not celebrate Hindu festivals. Let's celebrate people who destroyed Hinduism. Let's celebrate people who committed genocide against Hindus. That is wokefare, where you manipulate your textbooks, where you manipulate your cinema, where you manipulate your visual, all mediums, so that the population is either apathetic to the needs or wants of Hindus or blatantly turns anti-Hindu. And the final is warfare, which is the stage we are right now, where there are actively laws being promulgated that are anti-Hindu, that are discriminatory. And that is the most dangerous thing. Everyone in this country is discriminated. Hindu, Muslim, Christian, that's not the point. But you name me one constitutional, legal, educational discrimination happening against any other community other than Hindus. I've been searching for it. I haven't found it. And the very fact that we have accepted this to be an axiom is what is worrying. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know I didn't want to be so despondent. I didn't want to give such a harsh reality check after the marvelous enthrallment that Dushyanth gave, but I think this side of the coin is equally important if we want India to be enthralled for centuries by people like Dushyanth. I shall end there and let's have a lively session. We have about, I think, 20 minutes or so of question and answers. Please feel free. Thank you. I would prefer if a mic is, thank you. Because I have developed a habit of shrieking without the mic, but I don't think others have.
Thank you, sir, for you gave us a lot of inputs, mostly disturbing. You made us think also. How do we desecularize our country?
How do we, sorry?
How do we desecularize our country? That narrative is really harmful.
Right.
How do you do that?
Okay, so it may come as a surprise, maybe as a disappointment to many, but I don't want India to be desecularized. I want a secular India. The problem is we don't have a secular India. That's the issue. As I said, like Dushyanth, I put great emphasis on what the words mean. Otherwise, don't use those words. If you're using a word, if you're using a phrase, then please be sure that you're using it because it carries a meaning and you want that word to convey that meaning. Now, secularism means complete demarcation between religion and state. The state has got nothing to do with religion, and the religion has got nothing to do with state. I want an India like that. But do we have an India like that? No. Why do we have a state controlling Hindu places of worship? If it was secular, then it would, like it does not control mosques or churches, it would not control Hindu temples. Why do we have Hajj subsidies? If it was secular, then we would not have state interfering in matters of religion. Why do we give tens of thousands of Maulvis monthly salaries? Is a secular state supposed to do that? No. So I want a secular state. We don't have a secular state. Thank you.
Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening.
So, Doctor, most of the things which you have told were problem statements. And I'm sure many more people like me are ready to initiate or take it up. But what do? We don't have any clue. So, can you suggest something? Because I'm ready to take it on.
Thank you. Again, I've, at the risk of annoying you, I don't know why I've picked up this habit of annoying people. I've learned it from my wife, maybe. But no. I hope this is not being beamed live, because I would have to stay here permanently, not go back. But my solution is, stop thinking about that you have to do something. If you start doing something, the fastest descent into disintegration of India will happen then. You are wealth creators. You are creating what India is to be proud of. You are generating wealth for this country. If you were to start worrying about, this is not right, the government is not doing anything, let me come onto the streets. Unemployeds and unemployables do that. If you come onto the streets, who will do the job that you are doing? How will India function? How will India earn? How will India innovate? How will India discover? How will India be proud of people like Dushyanth, who are an ocean of knowledge? Just imagine if all of his day and night was, spent on the streets protesting. So I don't want you to do anything, and you may say, well, what kind of an answer is that? This is ridiculous. This man has come here and blabbered on for an hour and he says, don't do anything. I'll tell you what I believe in. I firmly believe in that change comes from top down. Awareness comes from bottom up. If you were to invert it, then nations get destroyed. If change comes from bottom up, that's like the revolution, bloody revolutions that you're looking for. And you might succeed. You might be lucky to have, out of 10 revolutions, one that is partly successful. But you look at human history, how many of those bloody revolutions have resulted in a stable, democratic state? Hardly any. Awareness has to come. But the change will be brought in by the government. We've been shouting. I've been the shishya of people like Sridhar, Dushyanth, Desai. They've been fighting those cases so that the government stops controlling Hindu places of worship. The government is not going to do it. What is our recourse? The cases are in Supreme Court. Dayanandji, he is no longer with us. His case was in Supreme Court. After 10 years, the government council was silent, and the baton has been passed from the Supreme Court to the High Court. Another 15 years will go by. What is the government doing? Can we abrogate the Places of Worship Act? Can we abrogate the 93rd Amendment conjunction with RTE? Can we do that, come onto the streets and do it? No. We've elected a government whose job it is to do it. If that government doesn't do that job, we don't have any recourse, because we have to think about the welfare of the country. And this was the classic problem I had with the farm laws. The darkest day in independent India was when those 3 farm laws were repealed. I still remember, I think 19th November 2021. A dark day. But the darker day, if at all I can use that euphemism, was that Supreme Court in the thick of things asked, all we see are the people who are protesting who are against the farm laws? Where are the people who are for the farm laws? And that really got my goat, because in a sense what the Supreme Court wanted was that ultimately, as it turned out, 270 million farmers were for the farm laws. The Supreme Court wanted them to drop whatever they were doing, producing things, growing things, making India richer, more prosperous. Drop it, hop onto the nearest bullock cart or a tractor or a bus or a train and come to Tilak Marg and stand outside Supreme Court and say, my lord, we are for the farm laws. Is that how democracy works? No, that is how anarchy works. So we are stuck. At most we can do repeatedly is to make more and more and more people aware. But, you know, as they say, it's like a rolling stone or a tumbleweed. Ultimately, the change has to come from top down. Thank you.
Thank you for coming to my city, sir. I am slightly proud that I share my first name with yours. My name is also Anand.
All great men are named Anand.
I have a few statements. Just wanted your thoughts. Will there be a situation where, based on the etymology that we are talking about revitalizing, that a few years later it will be reviving Hinduism suddenly?
Yes, yes.
And will there be any situation like where we have to save Hinduism from our own Hindus?
Yes.
Or do you think, like what next course that, like J. Sir also says, this is the only land that we have. There is no other. This is our Dharma Bhumi, Karma Bhumi, everything. What is our vision that we can enhance as a youth as growing up in the city and in this country? Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you for the very careful choice of word they have used. So I can see it in front of my eyes. Today it is revitalizing. Tomorrow it will be reviving. And by reviving, you mean giving CPR, you know. And that's the tragedy. You might actually find 20 years from now a title like that. I hope I'm not invited here to give that talk, Reviving Hinduism. But, you know, we seem to have what I call a taxidermy fetish, you know. None of us would seem to mind. Certainly not the left or the people who hate Hinduism, if you were to stuff it and put it for show. And then you would start glorifying it. Oh, look at this, you know, like the way we look at the ancient Egyptians or, you know, the Persian culture. Oh, wow, magnificent Persepolis, you know, all that thing. This is something which is so precious because it is still alive. And it's not just alive, the continuity is what is awe-inspiring. Most of what is happening today is a thread that you can connect it to 5,000, 6,000 years ago. And that you see not just in your normal daily routine, but in population genetics as well. You saw that cell paper of Laki Ghari, you know. There was no steppe component. But you see the way of life of the Harappan civilization. It is so similar to the way we live now. So this is something that, again, as I said, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. If Hindus have been displaced, let the government hold their hands by their wrist and pull them back to the valley. Pull them back. That's what I want. If a Hindu-run school has been shut down because of 25% thing, let the government give money to open 2 Hindu schools for every 1 Hindu rules cut down. If there is a Waqf Act, bring a Sanatan Act. If you're controlling Hindu temples, start controlling mosques. I don't know whether Mr. Owaisi is around somewhere. Him or his brother, I don't know who's more. Yeah.
Sir, a question from me. I'm Ravi. You were almost telling us that Hindus should lie low in one of your statements.
Should do what, sorry?
Hindus should lie low.
Lie low. Hindus should lie low.
Whatever Muslims do, you try to be calm so that they do it. A couple of years ago, 3 years ago in Nagpur, during Ganesh Chaturthi celebrations,
yes.
You know, there was this Ganesh songs for only the last 4-5 days. and a group of Muslims came there and they shouted at the Pandits who were doing puja in Nagpur, and they were beaten up and said that it is disturbing the Muslim community staying in and around that particular area. There was a big commotion. The commissioner of Nagpur police came, and the derogatory remark that was made by the Muslims was, "Your Lord Ganesha has such big ears. Does he need a microphone or a loudspeaker to listen to all this?" So the commissioner of police of Nagpur said he had the guts to say, 365 days, you fellows listen to this 5 times. Does your Allah not have ears to listen? Does he not do that? And the most unfortunate part is, this matter went up to the government and he was transferred to a very, very insignificant post, and the matter went up to the Supreme Court. In one of your interviews which I have seen, you said that the judiciary should be abolished.
No,
I can quote.
Who are the lawyers who stood up when... Forget lawyers, are there any judges in the audience? Sir, I never said this.
I'll show you one of these days.
No, please.
So anyway,
It might be AI generated. It might be that Anand who said it, not me, sir.
so what I'm trying to say here is, we should not, but for the action of the Commissioner of Nagpur Police, it would have created a big havoc in Nagpur, and there would have been a chaos. But for his intervention, till today, even after 3 years of this festival is going on, it is peace. So there must be someone who should take a stern action.
Yes.
And it is not the judiciary who should do that. It is the government who should do that. So your views on that, because there was some, probably I have mistaken, there was some reference to judiciary in one of your interviews, wherein you said that, judiciary has no power to interfere in governmental affairs.
Thank you very much, sir. Let me answer it in 2 ways. Number one, first of all, I'm very thankful that the commissioner was not transferred to the Kashmir Valley, because that would have been disastrous. But, I don't, and again, I said this, if not in so many words, I don't blame the haters. I apply what I call the Anderson razor. Now, all of you know who Warren Anderson was, the butcher of Bhopal. I don't blame him for escaping. That is what criminals do. I blame Rajiv Gandhi for ferrying him to the tarmac in the middle of the night in an ambassador, and then putting him onto a chartered plane so that the fellow could fly off and never see India again. So I don't blame the people who hate Hinduism. There are billions. How many will you stop? How many will you stop who want to mock, destroy both Hindus, Muslims, Christians, anybody? People who want the end of Hinduism. There is no end to it. You will tire out after maybe a day or 2. So that is a fool's errand. I blame the people who are not demonstrating their strength. The government has to do it, the judiciary has to do it. People cannot do it, because when people, I don't want people to take law into their hands. We are not government. Yes, sir. So let me illustrate this with an example. You had Nupur, who is hiding for possibly the rest of her life for something that she said that was derived from the revered Islamic scriptures. How is that a crime? But it was the Supreme Court, when the matter went there, Supreme Court said, you have burned down India. I'm paraphrasing. You have ignited the country. You have a loose tongue. Because of you, somebody has been killed. No. That gentleman who was killed because he didn't even repeat what Nupur said. He just said, I stand with Nupur. And he was hacked, Kanhaiya Lalji. So it's not just the fact that the Supreme Court did not see rationale and sense. Nupur's own party threw her under the bus. And recently I was very pained. I almost tweeted about it. I was so vexed when Nupur came out of her hiding momentarily and she said, if I'm alive today, it is because of Narendra Modi ji and Amit Shah ji. And I felt like saying, sorry Nupur, you are my sister, I love you, but if you are in hiding today, it is because of Narendra Modi and Amit Shah. Because they didn't have the courage to say that Nupur is right. She has the right to quote the Islamic scriptures. And what is happening against her is wrong. Not that what she has done is wrong. And that is the problem with both our legislature and the judiciary. Thank you.
Sir, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Welcome to Bhagyanagar.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And on a lighter note, God has given some of the greatest gifts to mankind, and one of them is to forget. Is it that He has given over to the Hindus that we keep forgetting and doing the same things again and again and again?
Yeah.
And one point.
One question, please.
Yeah. How many ever Durandars will come? Sorry to say, we will remain Darindars because we don't vote. The power of vote is not done by Hindus. If we are 80%, who can challenge us?
Okay. Can I answer that? So here I want a show of hands from there because I don't want to go to jail alone. Why should I? You know, I want all of you to be with me. As the ad says, "Khoob jamega rang." So, you know, let me ask for a show of hands after I explain to you a situation. You had the British government rule over us for 200 years odd, and they promulgated blatantly anti-India rules. Sedition was one. You can't even say anything against the British government. That was anti-Indian. There was another where you can't openly on the street have theaters. So many other, hundreds of laws were anti-Indian laws. Would you say that the British government was anti-Indian? Please raise your hands if you believe the British government was anti-Indian. Please don't hold back. Raise your hands if you feel. All the hands have gotten up. Now, have been raised. Now, the British left. It was replaced by the Congress. And then the Congress continued with those anti-Indian laws, sedition laws, many of the other laws continued. So would you say that a government that continues with anti-Indian laws is anti-Indian? Please raise your hands. All the hands have gone up. Okay. Now, the Congress promulgated blatant anti-Hindu acts. You have the Places of Worship Act, you have the RT 93rd Amendment, you have the Temples Control, you have the Waqf Act, you have the 7 lakh refugees not able to go back, and thank God, but you were about to have the Communal Violence Bill, where under the event of a communal riot, only the majority, i.e. Hindus, would be held guilty. So the Congress came up with blatantly anti-Hindu acts. Was the Congress anti-Hindu? Please raise your hands. Right. The Congress left, the BJP came. All those acts are still continuing. Do you think the BJP is anti-Hindu? There we go. So when you talk about the power of vote, you have voted the BJP government for 11 years. What has it done? Now this is the classic deception. Arey thoda time de do bhai. Arey 11 years is not enough. You are right, 11 years is not enough. All these things should have been done on day one. Thank you.
In the world of all good evenings and hi hellos, I would like to say Jai Shri Ram, sir.
Jai Shri Ram.
Because I was finding it miss. Anyways, my question or my thought was basically revitalizing Hinduism would be a slightly different opinion than yours.
Please.
From bottom
I
to top.
value disagreements. I am married.
Anyways, my point was the awareness or the Hindu consciousness should come from the withdrawal of endowment department from the government controlled to the bhaktas.
Yes.
And from the bhaktas, it should be that the academia, which we are in the lack or in the dearth of. Especially we can see that satta hamare paas hai, magar system unke haathon hai. which is, unfortunately, whether you like it or not, it is the truth. So my point is, why is it that the top to bottom approach, when the government is ours, the bureaucrats are controlled by the ministers, so-called ministers, but they fail to realize the consciousness of the crores of Hindus, the bhaktas who have been, especially in the case of Sabrimala and especially in the case of Chennai, a very famous temple has, their land has been taken by a very famous pain relief balm. I would not like to say the name. It is coincidentally with the Zandu balm. You may know or may not know about that. It's a very reported case. And they, yes, maybe, yeah, I don't know, sir. I am just a young lawyer. I might not want to go to jail for that. So anyways.
When the lawyer fears jail, please don't. Finish your question quickly, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So my point was, sir, what do you think of this, about this situation, wherein satta हमारे पास होके भी system उनके हाथों है?
So, you know, all the maladies that you narrated, obviously you are contradicting yourself when you say the government is yours. The government is not yours. Yeah. So the first is that realization. And let me tell you this also, because this is also important. You know, there are so many things that are wrong with Modi, so many. But there is not a single thing that is right with Rahul. It is a fact. And heaven forbid if Congress were to come back. I mean, I just don't even want to think of that scenario. Yes, in a limited way. Yes.
Hi, sir. My name is Harikesh. So my two questions are, one, your comment about workfare is actually right. It's rampant everywhere. And when I see news, the mainstream media like newspapers like The Wire, The Telegraph, and so-called activists like Dhruv, my blood kind of boils at times. So how do we rise from the perception that from the perception that workfare controls the mainstream media? How do we present our own facts in front of the people of the country? And my second question is, with a thought like secularism, which is entrenched in our blood for almost 80 years, how do we rise out of the perception that we can change it and we can create an ecosystem which is equitable for everyone, but it also does not sideline one particular religion?
So let me answer the second question first. I am against building an ecosystem, and I've written about this almost 10 years ago, and I've been proven right, because the left builds an ecosystem. You see, an ecosystem very quickly turns into an ecosystem, right? Where you prop up mediocre people who have no competence, hoist them onto your shoulders and proclaim them as the best thing since sliced bread. Nothing that is said is ever wrong. Everything is correct. That's an echo chamber or an ecosystem. And in many ways, that is what a government is. When was the last time you saw a single minister or a single member of the BJP disagree with anything that the BJP did? The same goes for any party, The tragedy is, the more we hanker for an ecosystem, the less we move away from Darwinian endowment of Darwinian evolution. The sense of evolution, which is competition, survival of the fittest with empathy, follows for society as well. Ideas they need to evolve. For that, people need to come up with 100 ideas. May the best idea win. The left never follows that. So you have crackpots who have become historians. I don't want to name them because there's so many. But the fact of the matter is, that is what ecosystem does. I don't want the right wing or whatever you may call it, non-left, to have that ecosystem. Yeah.
So, since you mentioned that the change should come from top down,
yes.
So don't you think that there is enough pressure that we need to put on the current dispensation, where they think that only by fulfilling that thing we will be able to stay in power? But in order to get that power, that courage. Since we are from generations upon, we have been brainwashed stating that we are weak. So where to find that source of courage so that it will get all us Hindus united and ask in single voice, so that the political party will needs to head down.
So let me give you a great example that the news happened just 2 days ago. You had the Supreme Court give out an excellent judgment that said SC, a Dalit who's converted, will lose all the benefits. It is embarrassing that it had to go to the court to give this logical judgment. I mean, how on earth did we come to a point where even this had to be debated? By way of analogy, if a doctor has a stethoscope and wears a lab coat and he gets some benefits because of that, tomorrow he decides to be a policeman and he dons a cap and a khaki uniform and a bint, and suddenly he says, well, I demand the benefits that I was getting as a doctor to continue. So, it was akin to that. So that was something that happened good. But then the problem is that you have another sleight of hand that is continuing across ideologies and governments, which we don't even talk about, which is the OBC. Now I ask you, what is the full form of OBC? Other backward class. It's not other backward caste. So when you have other backward class, you bring in millions of Muslims and Christians and people of non-Hindu or non-Indic faiths, taking reservations and benefits that should go to the needy from the Indic faiths. Does the BJP or does any government, non-left, non-Congress, have the guts to change that C from caste to class? No. That's the problem. We can't do it. Sir, how to bell the cat, sir? Yes. I think, are we done? Yeah.
Sir, I had a question.
Please.
As the youth of this country, what are 5 steps we can take to ensure justice or destroy...
5 steps as a youth. Can I ask you how old you are?
We are in 10th.
In 10th. Yeah. So the 5 steps are: become the Prime Minister, become the Chief Justice of India, own at least 3 media channels and 2 newspapers. No, but I'm Adani Ambani, yes. No, but that's a very complicated question. I would say, in fact, that is what we've been talking about over the last hour. But I would strongly, strongly encourage you to excel in something. And I know from you, looking at you, I know that you are going to excel in something. I don't know what that thing is, but just focus on that. Don't worry whether it's going to be politics or films or dramatics or maths or engineering or law. One thing, excel in that. And that is what India needs. Yeah.
Revitalizing Hinduism, an important subject, was well presented by Sri Dushyanth Sridhar ji, much sought after speaker. A speaker attracting the youth and the elders. His forceful points, interesting facts, and the need for revitalizing Hinduism was well taken. We need more such speakers. Now it's up to us to analyze and awake. We thank Sri Dushyanth Sridhar Swami for helping us to have Sri Anand Ranganathan ji on our stage. Sri Anand Ranganathan ji, esteemed speaker today, he has a crystal clear perspective, so much clarity in thoughts, clear vision and eloquence, and has made us all feel and think and rethink about our next step. They have done their job. It's for us to revitalize and think of our future. Let Sri Rama bestow his blessings on the 2 speakers, and they both deserve a big hand. Thank you, Sri Dushyanth Sridhar Swami, and thank you, Sri Anand Ranganathan ji. Tomorrow, our program starts at 5:15 p.m. with epic competition prize distribution, followed at 6:30 p.m. Upanyasam in English by our Upanyasaka, Sri Dushyanth Sridhar Swami, on Hanuman Chalis. Thank you, Nandri, Vanakkam.